sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for HVAC services, aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ring.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, welcome to Tuesday. Golly. It's just like the intro's done. It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
There's been a lot of news. There's nothing special today.
Okay, well, then
I hate Tuesdays.
Tuesdays suck, don't
thanks
they?
for being here, Ethan.
It's like you're too far away from the weekend to know, like, to still feel that weekend glow, but you're so far away from the next weekend. You just spend the whole day being like, gosh, this day sucks.
No, that's not true. I love Tuesdays.
Awful.
Tuesdays are the best, you guys.
Happy birthday, Ryan.
Thank you very much.
I have good news and I have bad news about your birthday.
Right out of the gate.
No, I'm
Okay.
going to make you wait for it.
Thank you.
That's neither the good news or the bad news.
All right.
Congresswoman Mary Miller is going to be with us in about a little over 10 minutes from right now. There are so many different tracks that the Charlie Kirk story is running on right now. There are so many different areas of focus that, I find them to all be important. But obviously, to me, the most important one is who killed him? Do they have the guy in custody? Was there a plot and a plan? Was it funded? The whole kit and caboodle. Does this look like a conspiracy to you? I think I'm like allergic to, at least publicly, I will say, publicly agreeing with the idea of conspiracy, but I'm always interested in it. I've done a lot of research, but none of it of which I'm, willing to go all in and say here, oh, this is obviously what happened. It's this country and that country and the other country, and they've all come together to coordinate against Charlie Kirk. But there are a lot of people out there who are doing that right now. And I don't find it constructive to get too in the weeds with that when it's coming from influencers who are saying those same types of things before the Charlie. I feel like there's too much of an angle. And I'm so hesitant. I would rather be right than first every single time. And I was talking about this yesterday with that clip we played of Don Lemon where he's like out on the street just trying to talk to people to find out what their thoughts are on the whole situation. And he's talking to this one woman and he's kind of just like, so what are your thoughts on Charlie Kirk? And she was very complimentary of him. She was very acknowledging of his faith, of his humanity specifically. And Don Lemon goes back and says, even though he said things that were against women, even though he said things that were against people of color, and she's like, I didn't get that. That's not what I got from this. Do we have that other clip of Don Lemon that I sent you for today? I'm scanning and I'm not seeing it.
I didn't see it.
Oh. I'm watching the wake of everything that we are covering here. And this will, in my opinion, I don't know how you feel about this, Ryan, because I know that you follow the same things that I do. This is quickly going to turn into content.
Yeah.
And it's frightening to me. It
is me too. Well, the thing is, when you're hunting down a killer and you don't know I'm not going to say you don't know what his motives were. We can see where he comes from. But when you look at the possibility of there being money involved, we don't know. I'm just saying you look at the possibility, then it really does become a news story. It turns from being something that the nation is mourning to, because we had the flags at half-mast. I mean, I think this was a national mourning event, despite what some people tried to turn it into. it turns into a news story where the FBI is involved. You're looking for the real motive. You're looking for if there was anybody else involved, just like you were saying at the top of the show. Once it becomes news and you're following that rabbit trail, it is content. But you don't want to lose sight of the fact that you just had this major thing happen that is incredibly tragic, and that's the reason you're talking about it. And that's our job. I mean, that's our job to make sure that first things are first.
Do you have a priority in your head as to how this should go? Of the way we cover these stories? Is it just whatever is in the lead right now, whatever the development is at that time is the lead story and we cover it? Because our YouTube poll for today is a simple question. Is it a both sides issue? Yes, both sides. No, just one. Or a third option, there is no issue. We're living in a country that has a number one amendment that protects free speech. I know Pam Bondi has made some comments. You know, you start talking about hate speech versus free speech and the First Amendment. There are a lot of things you can say legally, perfectly legal to say them, that are going to be very, very, very hard for other people to hear. And we can't be a country that starts policing speech, but you also can't incite violence.
Yeah. I think the goal here for us, and hopefully for others too, is that whenever we're talking about each twist and turn of the story that it is becoming and will become, that we still take a minute to acknowledge what has happened and acknowledge that a very good man lost his life by an assassin's bullet. Because we are going to get into these issues because they get deeper. You know, this is where the push and pull, the tug comes politically. But let's just acknowledge that that a good man lost his life every time we talk about this stuff.
You know, the both sides part of all of this that really kind of makes me step back, because my first answer to this question is yes, it's a both sides issue. That there needs to be accountability, and I'm not talking like government accountability. I'm talking about internal spiritual reflection, accountability about how we treat one another. I try to take a kinder approach to the daily news on a regular basis here. So it could be any given day, and I'm listening to people on the left, but mostly people on the right, and the way things are being talked about makes me uncomfortable, because it's the owning the libs thing. In no way, shape, or form does saying you want to own the libs permit somebody to go shoot someone. So it's difficult to say that if you're out there and you're owning the libs, or if you're using the phrase libtards and all of that stuff all the time. I don't think that's helpful and constructive, and I think that humans should do better than that. But that's a hope that I have, that I know that it won't ever materialize. But I don't think that Republicans as a whole have, in the influencer culture, have always been, completely upstanding. But I think that they finally decided to come to the battle to fight back and to not take it anymore, which I don't know if that's the right thing to do either, but we're very, what was the phrase, or what was the story? It was just within the last week, maybe it was over the weekend, was talking about how words are violence, or words are not violence. Words are not violence. But we've gone through almost 2 decades now of watching the victim culture, where it's your job to go out and find out all the boxes you can check on a form to find out all the victimhoods that you can appropriate to yourself. I don't know what the point of that is. And we elevate victims. We elevate what the overbloated term marginalized people or communities or whatever it might be. There are more people in the margins than there aren't at this point.
Yeah, everybody wants to be in the margins.
Which makes it not margins. It makes it a donut. The substance is around the side. That's to say that part of being a human means that you're going to have strengths and you're going to have weaknesses. The things that are your weaknesses don't make you a marginalized individual. There are people who have disabilities. There are people who have diagnoses that actually put them in those places. But boy, have we politically taken advantage of victim culture so that we can completely flip on its head who the criminals are, who the victims are, who the normies are, who the abnormal people are. And it's all in a position to try to keep people from speaking. And at the end of the day, the people who've had the most power, they control all the messaging systems. They control the university system, which is really, really what I am looking at this administration right now and wanting to see come from this. If Charlie Kirk wanted to go and transform the university system, if he wanted to give kids an opportunity to be able to go to a university, to go to a college, a place of higher learning, and actually get a real education that would do what? That would turn them into employees and employers. Business people, business starters, inventors, entrepreneurs, all of those types of things. The one thing that can come from this is that our tax dollars can stop going to fund institutions that harbor a hatred for America. That we can stop funding teachers who, in perpetuity, who are tenured teachers, who can spew absolute hateful vitriol about the country that these young adults are supposed to be going out to live in to make better. I mean, how do they make it better? Instead of creating employees and employers, they end up creating activists. You're sitting right now and you know that the university system changed the way your kid sees the world, and maybe even drastically so. How does that happen so frequently? Who goes to college and gets radically conservative? Does that happen? Maybe you go to Liberty University or Hillsdale College and you come home and you're like, Ronald Reagan's my hero.
That happened to me, but I think I might be the only person.
Were you not conservative before you went?
I was already pretty conservative,
then what you did was you thought for yourself.
Down.
And you did what I know that I did in college, which was go sit in class after class after class. Now, I was in school right when we were going to war, right after September 11th. So there was this kind of, I always thought of it as being like just a fraction maybe of what it would have been like during Vietnam to have people who were so anti-war, so anti-fighting. It preceded everything else, and it turned people into kind of callous a-holes about the way they talked about it, because it was my friends who signed up for boot camp after the towers were hit. And then they'd be insulted in classrooms, and I'd fight back, and I'd get in trouble. Charlie Kirk's greatest imprint on our higher education system might just be the way we shift how we fund these institutions who create and manifest generational hate by the students that they educate. I hope that the administration looks heavily into that. When we come back, we're going to speak with Congresswoman Mary Miller. I'm excited to talk to her. And we're going to learn from Mary Miller about a resolution that she has entered along with Congressman Boston LaHood honoring Illinois native and American martyr Charlie Kirk. That is from the press release from her office. Congresswoman Mary Miller next. AirComfortService.com. If you are ready to get your furnace checked, it's probably about time, and I would encourage you to get in before the rush of when it actually gets cold outside and then everyone else is realizing, oh my gosh, my furnace doesn't work. Air Comfort Service can be reached at 314-513-0091, a longtime sponsor of the station, of this show. We are so glad to be partnered with Corey Malone and the amazing team at Air Comfort Service. I am a multi-time customer myself of Air Comfort Service. We have a furnace, an AC unit, a water heater, an AeroSeal duct sealing, all from Air Comfort Service, and they did stellar work each time, incredibly respectful of our house, of our pets, of our kids, and they did great work. And they offer a ton of opportunities for you to save if you have to get that furnace replaced. If you just need the heating system checked, reach out to them at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. Reach out to Air Comfort Service before the cold weather sets in and tell them Annie said hello. AirComfortService.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-239-1749. 800-239-1749 or biglou.com.
Hey, it's Bo Matthews, and Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property through eco-friendly forestry mulching. Missouri Brush Control can transform your overgrown acreage into accessible and usable land, and in a fraction of the time compared to conventional methods. Missouri Brush Control also cleans up around ponds, lakes, and dams, allowing easy access to your water feature. They service residential, commercial, and recreational properties with their specialized machines and years of expertise. Enjoy your land like you've always dreamed of. Visit MissouriBrushControl.com. That's MissouriBrushControl.com.
Protect your liver and give it the support it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or at NewNordicUSA.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Grateful for you to spend a little bit of your Tuesday afternoon with us. We want to hear from you on the YouTube live chat poll. Is it a both sides issue? Let us know what you think. Leave your comments as well. Let's get to our guest. Congresswoman Mary Miller joins us once again from Illinois' 15th District. Congresswoman, thank you for being with us here today. I wish it were under better circumstances, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk to us about the resolution that you are entering to honor American martyr Charlie Kirk.
Yes. Well, Charlie Kirk was my friend and a hero to the country. People have been devastated by this. My children and grandchildren have been devastated. He had such a big impact. And so my resolution is basically a robust description of the legacy that he's left, the great life he's lived in 31 years, and then a condemnation of this horrific attack or horrific, assassination.
Yeah.
So right now we have 70 members signed on and more every hour. All members should sign on to celebrate his legacy and, condemn this political violence. Charlie Kirk went on to got in the political scene. He got started in Illinois. He started with nothing and built this organization that impacted millions. He's had a big footprint on university campuses. And I believe I read recently that the ratio of liberal professors to conservative is 20-1. And our universities, which should be a marketplace of ideas, they have completely shut down civil discourse. And Charlie did nothing but go to college campuses and encourage people to have civil discourse, to be peaceable, to think logically, and to wrangle over the truth. He was a great example for that. And his death will not be in vain. I believe what his wife said is they have no idea what they have unleashed.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well, very much so. Congresswoman Mary Miller speaking with us. You're talking about how he's from Illinois. I imagine that you've probably done significant work with him or been at many events where he was from, I believe, is it Aurora that he was originally from? Or at least the northern part of the state. And I find it interesting. It's very inspiring to me as well to know that a Charlie Kirk, who really has changed the course of politics, a huge reason as to why Donald Trump was elected for a second term. Charlie Kirk was stuck in the middle of blue state Illinois. And he wanted something to change. He wanted
Yes.
something to be different. And the fact that he was in blue state Illinois didn't stop him. In fact, it inspired him to
Right.
create a movement that became a national and then global effort. I want to know what your inspiration is from Charlie Kirk.
Well, he and I share a mutual friend, Bill Montgomery, who got him started, who heard him speak as an 18-year-old and recognized his intelligence and his ability to rouse the young people. And he pitched the idea to Charlie to start the kind of movement on college campuses. He's also the one that encouraged me to run for Congress. So we have that mutual friend, but I do think my resolution coming from a member from Illinois, and also Mike Boston, Darren LaHood are also original co-signers on it, because Charlie got started in Illinois in a blue state that looks hopeless, and he has literally changed the world. He has inspired our young people to love their country, to defend their faith, and to get involved in civic activity. So I'm very proud to be able to have this resolution.
Well, it's important that it's done. I'm curious if you have any Democrats coworkers there, congressmen or women who have signed on yet.
I don't believe so, but every member should sign on, and it's such a shame. And anybody that is celebrating his assassination should be shamed. And yes, people have the right to free speech, but they don't have the right to avoid the consequences. And if medical personnel, teachers, if they are espousing any kind of positive rhetoric about Charlie Kirk's assassination, they should be fired. And they should expect to be fired. And I have read that there is going to be some kind of list made. In fact, I heard there were 40,000 names on it with the employers so that the American people can go to work and get these people fired.
I want to play a clip for you here real quick, Congresswoman. This is our governor, J.B. Pritzker, speaking on the
This
issue.
should come from the top. Yet with each new crisis in recent years, we are reminded that we cannot rely on President Trump to tamp down the anger and the passion in the aftermath of political violence. Instead, he actively fans the flames of division, as he did on Friday, regularly advocates violence for political retribution, and in more than one case declares we are at war, not with a foreign adversary, but with each other. I don't believe any of that.
So there's the governor saying he's putting it on Trump. He said Trump's going to make it worse. He fans the flames. What do you think of our governor?
Well, President Trump has always condemned political violence. Unlike J.B. Pritzker, it hasn't been that long ago that he said Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. And he has his own record of like inflamed rhetoric. And he has a terrible record, even as a governor and standing against violence in his own state. We have such a crime problem. And then what does he do? He rolls out the red carpet for illegals to come in and make the problem even worse. He's a failed governor. And it's interesting. I know the people in Illinois are, they know that. But as I travel the United States, people bring up, oh my gosh, you have the worst governor in the country, which that says a lot.
Yeah, it certainly does. Congresswoman Mary Miller with us. Last question before we leave. I can only think it would be such an absolute honor to Charlie Kirk for Illinois to, in the wake of his assassination, because of the views that he espoused and his willingness to do it in a place that traditionally does not welcome conservative ideas, if Illinois would get their act together in the next year here and reflect some of the values that Charlie Kirk espoused. And that might not mean that we have a red wave here in the state of Illinois, but it does mean going and talking to people. And it does mean approaching people who might disagree with you or listening to people who disagree with you so you can start a conversation. Do you think Illinois is poised for that moving into a very important election year?
Well, I think they're waking up and people need to get involved, whether it's at the school level. Parents, go to the school board and, stand up for your children and their education and get involved in local politics. And everybody needs to go vote in the midterm elections.
Yeah, certainly. Congresswoman, thank you for being with us. Thank you for talking to us about the resolution that you are putting there along with Congressman Boston and Congressman LaHood. We're grateful to see this acknowledgement of him, especially on behalf of Illinois, Republicans and Democrats alike, people who know that this was senseless. Charlie Kirk deserves to be honored, and we're glad that you were trying to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon. Congresswoman Mary Miller there with us, Illinois' 15th District Representative, one of 3 Republican representatives in the state of Illinois. All right, let's take a break. The YouTube live chat poll for today, is it a both sides? Please consider putting yourself in the hands of the amazing team at Infinite Vitality in Glen Carbon, Illinois. People who go through the weight loss program at Infinite Vitality are losing consistently 8 pounds a month. Now, you might think like, gosh, I'd really like to lose 30. Well, you want to do it the healthy way, don't you? And you want to do it in a way that is supervised, that is guided, that's going to last. You need to understand that Infinite Vitality is there to help you through all of these challenges and to make it a little bit easier along the way. I love the work that I've been able to do with Infinite Vitality, especially with weight loss. It's exciting to be able to put the pants back on that I really wanted to be able to wear. That was a goal for me, and I'm there. Now I've got a dress that I want to wear in October. A little bit further to go for that. It's at the end of October, so I'm feeling like I can achieve that. If you are thinking about losing weight, men and women alike, you need to call Infinite Vitality and ask them how they can help you, but make sure you mention my name. $50 credit towards weight loss services, 618-486-1888. 618-486-1888. You find them online at infinite-vitality.com.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Is it a both sides issue? Yes, no, First Amendment. There are a number of options here. We're asking you to vote in the YouTube live chat poll with the question, is it a both sides issue? Let us know by going to YouTube and finding the show and then today's date, of course, and that's where you can leave a comment and vote. 12:30, actually 12:31 now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
From Troy, Missouri to Troy, Illinois. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. So, have you paid a lot of attention to the FBI, the panel, the testimony, the hearing, or whatever that's taking place in front of the Senate? So, pretty much whenever these things happen, how do you feel about Josh Hawley and his ability to carry out a Senate hearing like this?
Well, he's been great at it.
It's like his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk like we do. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, I was going to say he's not one of us. He's one of you, Missourians, but he's not. I mean, I don't know. We don't talk like that in Illinois.
When you get out into Missouri, they all sound like Josh Hawley. They give you a grilling you've never experienced before.
If Hawley drops a farty far in the middle of one of these testimonies, I'm falling out of my chair.
I hate going out past Wentzville.
Because
no matter what, I'm going to get grilled by somebody.
It's really interesting to compare Hawley and Schmidt because they're both so intellectually smart.
Yeah.
One of them's making pork steaks on the weekend and sending out polls about what he should grill with his family, and there are 3 options. They're all pork steaks. And the other one's Josh Hawley. Which is fine. A little bit of each.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like good cop, bad cop. Who's the good cop and the bad cop?
I don't know the answer to that
But
question.
it could be either one of them any time, which makes it more effective because you never know which it's going to be. Do you good cop, bad cop with your wife to your kids?
No. Not intentionally.
Oh, you will.
We probably do.
Wait until they're
without
older
trying.
and sneakier. You've never, the
I
two
don't
of
think-
you.
No, we don't.
The two of you have never, been the person at ground zero of the problem, and you reacted the way a natural human would, and then the other parent has to come in and be like, so we're both not crazy.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, that has happened.
Where you're like, what are you doing? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And then the other parent in the other room's like, ooh, that was a little much.
Okay.
So you come in and you go, kids, what's going on here? What were you thinking? Why'd you do that? And the other parent's like, gonna need to take 5. Smoke if you got them.
We do present a united front.
Yeah.
If one of us goes a little too far, the other one's like, all right.
Do you have a sign?
All right.
Is
No.
it like, is the hat the indicator and then the slide down the arm? It's like, it's a little much.
No, we don't have third base signs.
No. Well,
No, we can just read the room well enough to know, all right, so one of us is losing their cool.
and sometimes it's because I'm sure your kids are angels, just like mine.
Well,
Just like mine. But sometimes it's because, first, you've told me that one of your kids, your oldest, is just like you. Didn't you say that?
yes.
I don't know what it would possibly be, but the things you don't like about yourself, does he have those characteristics?
Yeah.
Does it annoy you more when he does the things that you don't like about yourself?
Yeah, that's why I'm probably the most critical of him, which I hate to admit.
It's important to admit it, though,
But it
because
is
once
true.
you admit it, then you can plan for it.
Yeah.
Or see, okay, this feels like it's becoming more about
But the
me.
problem is, when I'm critical, I know how he's going to respond because I know how I respond to criticism, and it's a feedback loop.
Which is where your wife comes in.
Yes.
That's the point. So you're probably bad cop with him more often than the other two. But your other two are also kind of young still.
Yeah. They're all young.
No. Isn't your oldest 11?
Both of them are 11, and then we got
Those
an
are
8-year-old. Yeah.
You're getting there. I got a 15-year-old who is exactly like his dad, and a 13-year-old who is exactly sassy and stubborn like his dad.
Oh, sure. Last minute turn there. I don't
And
believe
witty,
that.
like his dad, her dad. No, Jensen is exactly like me. Charlie is exactly like Dad. And the things that drive me the most crazy parenting Jensen are the things that are exactly like me.
Yeah.
And I how many times I've said, don't pull this on me. I wrote the book. What a psycho.
You might need not just a second party. You might need a third party in the room.
Oh, we need an arbiter. That is for sure. Can we get a moderator in here? It's just important to be able to go back and forth and to be able to have a partner in that realm where somebody can come in and cooler heads can prevail, but that the child can still be reared and disciplined or guided. I don't know good cop or bad cop with Josh Hawley and Eric Schmidt, but I think we have two of the best senators from. Can you think of a state that has two better senators? Do you like Josh Hawley?
I like Josh Hawley. He's done a populist turn here recently.
Eric Schmidt's my favorite senator in the
done
Senate.
some stuff that I'm like, but I still like Josh Hawley. I'm just not sure what he's angling towards.
Think of a state that has two better senators than Missouri.
Florida's got Rick Scott and who else? Because Rick Scott's really good. And I think I can't remember who the other guy is though.
It was Rubio, but then they
It's
appointed
the
It
female.
was Rubio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what happened. I was thinking Florida because of Rubio.
Yeah.
But those two would have been awesome. But that's not them now.
Mm-mm.
I mean Connecticut. Blumenthal and White House.
Sheldon Whitehouse.
I just made that up. That might not even be them.
Is he the smiley one?
I don't know.
Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine is
Tim
the smiley
Kaine.
one. He looks like the Joker.
Yeah, yeah.
He's Virginia.
You want to know how I got these cards? The year was 1984. Ronald Reagan was running for president. Here's Josh Hawley on Capitol Hill talking about or questioning Kash Patel. And gosh, I can't help but look at this hearing and be like, doesn't Kash have something to do?
It's done in this investigation. Is the FBI investigating the Kirk assassination as part of this broader pattern of anti-religious, anti-Christian violence?
We are investigating Charlie's assassination fully and completely and running out every lead related to any allegation of broader violence, and we're producing results on that we'll disclose when appropriate.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Let me just ask you a few questions about that if I could. Sure. Reports have suggested that the FBI is investigating a broader network of groups that may have had some knowledge of the shooter's plans. Can you give us any details on that, following up what you already said in public? How's the FBI working to find other potential accomplices, folks who may have known about the shooter's plans, folks who may have encouraged him? Any update on any of that?
So in terms of what we do for an interrogation perspective, we go and reach out to the family and community immediately. And we've conducted those investigations and interrogations with local law enforcement, and we're continuing to do that because those closest to the suspect are going to hopefully know the most about the suspect and his beliefs and his ideology. On top of that, unfortunately, it has been leaked that there was a Discord chat, and for those unfamiliar with it, it's a gaming chat room online that the suspect participated in. So what we're doing, we've already done, is serve legal process, not just on Discord, so that the information we gathered is sustained and held in a evidentiary posture that we could use in prosecution should it be decided to do so. And we're also going to be investigating anyone and everyone involved in that Discord chat.
Okay, very good. I see the public reports that the Discord thread had as many as 20 additional users. It sounds like you're trying to run down all of that to see if that's accurate, who else may have been on that thread, what they may have known. Is that fair to say?
It's a lot more than that. We're running them all down.
It's a lot more than 20?
Yes, sir.
And you're running all of that to ground?
Every single one.
Yeah, fantastic. Let me just turn to the broader question here of anti-religious, anti-Christian violence. Let me just give you a few stats that I'm sure that you're all too familiar with.
So when you're listening to Josh Hawley there talking about and walking Kash Patel through this investigation they're putting into Charlie Kirk, the first question that Josh Hawley said there was, are you connecting this to Christian investigations that the FBI has already involved itself into like Christian hate, that type of thing? There are a lot of things that I consider that should be obvious. There are people out there who still say, Barack Obama said this in his initial tweet. He's like, we don't know yet what motivated the shooter. And that is just a patently offensive thing to say, because we have a really good idea of what motivated the shooter. You don't have to. You could say his whole tweet, like we were talking with Mark Hemingway yesterday. You could say that your heart is breaking for the family of Charlie Kirk in this unspeakable, violent act that took place today. There's no place for this in our society, and the Kirk family is in our prayers. It's almost as if Barack Obama and the people who follow Barack Obama, or maybe even came before him, put out a statement so that the first thing they could say is deflect from, it's not us. It's not us. I was listening. I haven't heard, other than John Fetterman. Do we have a Fetterman clip?
Yeah, it's the long one, though.
Yeah. We can maybe play that later. I haven't heard, other than Fetterman, any Democrats come out and be like, we have to knock this off. And Fetterman is saying like specific things about, don't call Donald Trump an autocrat. Don't go out there and use this type of language. He isn't. Stop doing that. But we have a lot of examples of people on the left calling Republicans, calling conservatives Nazis and fascists. They don't know what it even means. It doesn't even fit. It's not like this is what it is, but one step further, that they're a Nazi. It's not at all what conservatism is. Conservatism is a limited government. Isn't that kind of the opposite of fascism? Isn't that the absolute opposite antithesis?
Whoa. You're thinking way too deeply about these things. I don't know if you ever saw any movies that had Nazis in them, but that's what most people understand about Nazis.
Those movies are in German, and the people watching them don't understand German.
Well, except for like American History X, people be like, well, that's all of society.
I want to say that I don't hear any Democrats saying, because the both sides conversation does exist, but why are there, when it was maybe the top conservative Republican influencer who was shot in the neck, probably because the guy aimed for the head and missed. Why is it that no Democrats are out there saying our party needs to stop with the hyperbolic rhetoric? That doesn't mean that you approve of everything the Republicans say, but why in this instance don't we have Democrats out there saying that? And then Fetterman.
Never going to change my party, but clearly we've lost the argument, and right now I think it's entirely appropriate to really be honest and just figure out why exactly have we effectively lost 2 out of the last 3 cycles, and a lot of the things we've really kind of really lost our connection with American voters in ways. And I think we can't just be, well, Trump is always wrong, or that we're going to set the country on fire or whatever. That's just not true either, of course. But
Fetterman was a joke to Republicans when he was running. He, insensitively so, maybe. But I remember questioning why the Democrat Party would even follow through with this. He goes onto the stage to debate Dr. Oz for the Senate seat in Pennsylvania, and he starts his debate by saying goodnight. He had a stroke. This is a natural occurrence after a stroke. But you're asking yourself, does this man belong in the United States Senate? And Democrats in the state of Pennsylvania said, we're not going with the Republican. Now you have Fetterman, who's recovered significantly since then, but he obviously still has some effect in his speech, not necessarily in his thinking, but in his speech. But he seems like one of the most rational, detached from party people on either side of the aisle that exists in the Senate. It's amazing to me that the man who won his Senate seat from Pennsylvania while recovering from a very tragic stroke seems to be the one who is the most open-minded and principle-minded, that he came into that office with an understanding of who he was and what he was. He got elected, and he has not varied from that because his party has put pressure on him, and they've put pressure on him. He's out there saying it, so I can't say there are no Democrats who are doing it. I don't think Republican rhetoric has anything to do with Charlie Kirk's death. But I also don't think that Republicans can say they can do whatever they want right now. And I think that we have to understand and be self-reflecting. And I really think you just need to look at Charlie Kirk. He stood on principle. He stood and defended his own principles, but he did it in a kind and compassionate way that would listen to other people who would say, you know, we're not going to agree on this. Let's just understand one another that we're not going to agree on this. And he'd still continue the conversation.
Yeah, for a long time, Republicans were all like, oh, we just need to be nice and get along with the media and try to play it cool. And then fighters came along, and people said, actually, no, we need to do that. Charlie Kirk was like the next step in that evolution to say, you can fight and you can be nice and compassionate at the same time. He was really good at it.
Yeah.
He was the best at it.
And it worked. He chose respectful discourse, and it worked. And in a crazy twist of irony, I think it's working more than he could have ever imagined. It's still hard to say this in his death. All right, Wiggins America next. Don't go away.
Scott Jennings here. I'm excited to be part of the St. Louis conservative conversation, cutting through the noise with unfiltered common sense.
Scott Jennings.
Weekdays at 8 p.m.
on 97.1 FM Talk.
Stop just trying to paint and patch up the outside of your home. It's time to give it a permanent upgrade with James Hardie fiber cement siding from Lakeside Renovation and Design. This siding is designed to stand up to all the crazy weather we get here in Missouri, and it looks fantastic. Lakeside is a James Hardie elite preferred contractor. Whole team, by the way, is in-house, and they're going to take care of all the details, the color, the trim, everything to customize it to your home, to take the stress off of your plate. If your home is showing any signs of wear, it's time to take the next step. Visit lakesiderd.com.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Rooted in faith, grounded in family. This is the Annie Fry Show.
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
That's right, it's Wiggins America, and it's time for Ryan Wiggins to talk about it. There's Annie. She's returning to the studio right on schedule.
Hi.
What I have here are ways to make people instantly like you.
Be on time.
Number one, be on time. And admit your mistakes is actually number 5.
I can admit your mistakes.
Thank you very much. Man, what an honorable person you are.
I'm likable.
How about this one? Being direct. Sometimes the best route is the straightforward one. People who are direct and honest don't play mind games or come across as cagey. They are reliable communicators. Not mean, just direct.
Are you a direct person? You're not a direct person. You're not an indirect. What are you?
I don't know. You tell me, what am
Brad,
I?
am I right? Like, he's neither.
He is not a direct person. No, I would not say that.
Ethan, is Ryan would you call him a direct or indirect person?
No, he's definitely not a direct person. Anytime he has the opportunity to be direct, he ends up putting this random kind of twist on things that make no sense and they sometimes have humor. That's about as far as I can go.
Happy birthday
Man, it's
to
starting to cut.
you.
Thought we were having fun here, but it's getting a little deep.
We're having fun, aren't we?
I'm taking out my aggression from my my disappointed Wiggins America intros last week.
Disappointing.
I think Annie is correct. That's how direct I am.
Oh, thank you.
I think she nailed it. That I
feeling
don't know
okay?
whether I'm direct or indirect. I don't really know what I'm doing ever.
You summed it up pretty well.
If you don't know, then that definitely means you're not direct.
Annie is incredibly direct. Actually, you know what? I always am willing to deliver the information. I just try to pad it a little bit.
Doesn't need to be.
But I do it. So that doesn't
Padding
make me as
information
direct as I could be.
This is how I feel about it. If you have to pad the information, I mean, okay, there are a few examples where maybe you need to do that. But like in most life situations, if you have to pad information, then it's like the person can't handle the information.
No, I disagree. I think the best way to deliver bad information is to deliver it in a way that's very direct and also I don't hate you.
Oh, that reminds me. I have good news and bad news.
Here we go.
I'm not telling you yet.
Does that have to do with my birthday?
Oh, you have to stay tuned.
Did you get me something?
You have to stay tuned.
Did you get me multiple things?
You have to stay tuned.
Will I like them?
Probably got you expired root beer.
Next one is naming names.
Great deal.
These
on
are
it.
things that you can do that will make people like you.
Wait, what?
Not throwing people under the bus, but this is a tip that when you meet somebody, you use their name in a conversation.
Not good at names.
I am really bad at this, and I also notice when people are doing it. Like, hey, Ryan, nice to meet you, Ryan. I'm like, stop, you're doing a thing. You're just trying to remember my name because your business book told you to. Have you ever...
Maybe it was a segment he was listening to on the radio.
Have you ever remember somebody that does this?
You're undercutting the whole point of what you're doing right
I know.
now.
That's okay.
It's charming.
I'm being direct. Being the first to say hi. Just being friendly. That's all. Speaking of hello, the doctor that's involved in this article suggests being the first one to say it. He recalls that an informal psychological experiment in which people were asked whether they'd be receptive to introducing themselves to someone they didn't know. Most said yes. However, most people said they would never be the first to initiate contact. So if you are perceived as friendly and likable. Next one, sit. And this one, I was like, what? Sit with a view of a wall at a restaurant. We like people who pay attention to us when we're talking with them. It makes us feel important. So if you want to be likable, put the phone away, make eye contact, and position yourself so you're not distracted by the other things around you at a restaurant.
Ethan, what do you feel about this? Okay.
That was funny. It was a visual joke. We're on the radio, so you kind of lost that. But it was funny. He just turned away and he looked at the wall while I was saying that.
Addison says, happy birthday, Ryan. Have the best day ever.
Oh, thank you so much, Addison. Love you. Don't know who she is, but...
Sounds like you do. See how you used your name?
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, thank you, Ryan. I don't know why I would say that.
You are bad at this.
Ryan's like, I like me.
Well,
good job, Ryan. Happy birthday, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Next one is ask questions.
You look great for 76. I just thought it was important for people to understand that what you've been doing with your skin.
See?
People should take issue. I wish I could credit Infinite Vitality for that.
I have that rare condition where I was born at 120. And I'm aging backwards, like Benjamin Button.
Is that how that works? I don't think that's how that works.
Not exactly sure.
I didn't, until he explained it, I just thought he meant like PM. It's like, okay.
No, at age
Wow,
120.
it's almost exactly your birthday soon.
Yeah.
Do you know at 1:04 p.m. today that it'll be 1:04, 9, 16, 25?
What does that mean?
They're all square numbers.
Oh, yeah. Terry was talking about that last night.
Cool, guys.
Perfect squares.
Groundbreaking stuff.
At 1:04.
No, I'm just trying to salvage this
Are we going to
segment.
stop the show in the middle of Gym Talent to acknowledge that moment?
No, I'm doing it now when it doesn't matter.
What a scoop.
What a scoop.
Ask questions.
It's
one way to be very likable. Ask questions of the person you're talking to. You won't be considered nagging or nosy unless the questions are really weird. Active listening and proactive communication include asking thoughtful questions to display genuine
thoughtful
interest.
questions.
Yeah.
It's different than asking questions.
Yeah. Oh, I noticed it's your birthday today. Can I get you something? That would be a very nice string of questions.
Where'd you get that scar?
Yeah. Where'd you get that scar from? Maybe can I get you a scarf to cover it up?
Yeah, that's super charming.
The scarf is on my wrist.
You'd be like, wow, how thoughtful of you.
That's not a
I never
chocolate-
thought of covering up my scar until you, random stranger, asked me that at the bus stop. Remembering little details, like when the out time is of a segment. That's something that I think we all should remember and keep a close eye on. Becoming more likable doesn't always involve grand gestures. In fact, nailing the little things, little presents, little notices that somebody's valuable to you. They
He's
go a
careening.
long,
He's losing
long
it.
He's
way.
unbelievable.
He's losing it.
At least you remember the out time.
1:04, 9:15, 25 is upon us.
9:16.
It'll be that time
Today is
next.
9:16.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stiefel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is located in 3 different spots here in the St. Louis area. For your flooring purchase needs in St. Charles County and Main Street, it's in Old Town St. Peters, Mid Rivers, and Highway 70. You can also visit them in West County on Olive Boulevard, 1 mile off 270 West on Olive. You can also visit Michael's Flooring Outlet at Darting Prairie and online at igotfloor.com. Shop for your flooring at a place that's going to be really happy to hear that you heard about him here on the Annie Fry Show, that you heard about him on 97.1. We've been longtime partners with this family-owned and operated business at Michael's. They know how to do flooring. They know quality. They know value, and they know you. So when you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet and you're looking for the carpet to finish off that basement that you finally invested in completing, you're looking for that Mohawk Smart Strand that's going to last all the fun that you're going to have downstairs in the basement with the grandkids over or whatever it might be, reach out to them and tell them what you're looking for, and make sure you mention the Annie Fry Show when you do. Find them online at igotfloored.com.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Fireworks at a Senate hearing. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News, as FBI Director Kash Patel defends himself from Democrat claims he's politicizing the agency and avenging Trump investigations by firing agents.
Did you terminate or participate in any discipline of any FBI employee in whole or in part because of their work on an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th? Yes or no?
Any terminations at the FBI by employees.
No, I'm asking you a very specific
question. And I'm
question.
going to answer the question, but you don't like the answer because it's the truth.
California Senator Adam Schiff also questioning the handling of the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Patel calling Schiff a fraud and a coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Patel says he's combating the weaponization of intelligence, also telling lawmakers the FBI continues to investigate the other members of a chat group where Charlie Kirk's accused killer reportedly talked about the shooting. He's expected to be formally charged with state counts in Utah soon.
Investigators are going through all of the suspect's electronics to track down anyone he has been in touch with, using his cell phone, computers, and video game systems to find out if he got any kind of help and who knew about his plans beforehand.
Fox's Garrett Tenney outside the Utah County Jail, where Tyler Robinson is held without bond ahead of an expected virtual court appearance this afternoon. A judge in New York City drops state terrorism charges against Luigi Mangione, the man accused of killing a healthcare executive last December. He still faces multiple state and federal counts, including murder, but the judge ruling that New York law doesn't consider something to be terrorism simply because it's motivated by ideology. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The September summer bake still in play. Partly sunny, hot, moderate humidity going through our Tuesday afternoon. Just a tiny chance of a pop-up thunderstorm. Most will not see anything at all. 95 for the high. Tonight, mostly clear. 69 Wednesday and Thursday. Partly sunny, hot, moderate humidity. A spot storm possible each day, and each day, 95. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If you need a new air conditioner installed this summer, call a company you can trust to install your AC properly. That will get your home cool and comfortable fast. For a free estimate on a new air conditioner, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. There is so much news that continues to go on in the world, and while we are figuring out this tragedy that has been brought upon our country and the assassination of Charlie Kirk, there are many other stories that we need to continue to pay attention to. And of course, we keep hearing things about what's going on with Venezuela, what's going on with Israel and Gaza and Russia and China. It just mounts and it mounts and it mounts. And we want to make sure that we are in a position to continue to cover that for you. So we are always grateful when we can have our friend Senator Jim Talent back on with us. Former United States Senator from Missouri and Congressman, Chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council. Senator, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Annie.
I did want to give you the opportunity. I don't know if you knew Charlie Kirk personally at all. I wanted to give you the opportunity to tell us in the time that you've served in politics and served and represented the people of Missouri, just what kind of event you think this is going to be historically for the country, the tragic loss of Charlie Kirk last week.
Well, we're still experiencing that. I'll say for myself, no, I did not know Charlie. I knew a lot of people. I know a lot of people who knew him well, and I had watched a lot of his videos. I thought he was doing the right thing the right way. I admired him tremendously, and it was clear he was having a big impact. I got a call from a friend who said, I was busy that afternoon, and I didn't know about the shooting. And he says, well, what do you think about this with Charlie Kirk? And I said, what happened? And he told me, and I went on, and then I basically quit work the rest of the afternoon. I was really affected by it, even though I didn't know him personally. So is it going to be a turning point? No pun intended. Yeah, I think so. I think it's awakened a lot of people to violence on the left. I thought the vice president summed it up very well, and I love the fact that he introduced it by saying, look, we have to have the truth. There's no unity without the truth. There's no healing without the truth. There's no moving forward without the truth. You can't build any of that on falsehoods. And the truth is that there is a militant wing to the left, and establishment leaders on the left have been winking at violence, not just against people, not just against Charlie and against President Trump and against Steve Scalise, but against a lot of Americans, you know, with riots and intimidation on college campuses, Jewish students. And it's time for them to step up and say very clearly that that's wrong. And then we can have unity.
Yeah, I think that's well spoken. Senator Talent with us right now. While we are up to our eyeballs in trying to find out what happened to Charlie Kirk, especially to make sure that it can't happen again, a lot of things are boiling around the world. And I wanted to give you the opportunity to highlight where your attention is the most with all of the conflicts that are taking place around the globe. Venezuela has been the narco terrorism coming out of there has been a story that has been hitting as of late. But of course, we do not have a resolution between Russia and Ukraine. And I don't know if we're moving away from what looked like a potential peace deal there. Where do you have your attention focused right now on the global stage?
Well, you mentioned three areas. I still think the one where the most significant changes are going on, and they're all significant, is the Middle East. And I think people, understandably, because they're focused on particular operations, but they missed the big picture, which is that Israel has moved from a containment policy to a preemption policy. They have emerged as, I think I've said this on the show, the hegemon of the Middle East. That means that the country with the power to dominate their strategic environment. And so they've occupied parts of southern Lebanon. They're hitting Hezbollah in Lebanon. They've occupied parts of Syria, and they've moved to protect the Druze in Syria. They just attacked Hamas in Qatar. They're attacking the Houthis in Yemen. And, of course, they're moving to take Gaza City, which will, I think, be the end of Hamas. It's already finished as an organized military force, but I think they're going to destroy the infrastructure in the city, which is most of the infrastructure that remains. So there has been a turning point in the Middle East, and that's the significance, I think, of Rubio's trip there when he said Hamas has to cease to exist. And he's right. So we can really build something in the Middle East once Israel solidifies its control in Gaza.
We're speaking with Senator Jim Talent. I want to give you the opportunity to just reflect on the Americanized Free Palestine movement. Whatever this is here in stateside, domestically. I mean, we watch protesters kind of shift from cause to cause. And right now, Free Palestine is a main rallying cry for the Antifa crowd, for the anti-Trump crowd, for the one side of, I think, of the wing of the Democrat Party. What do you make of those protesters in this country who are saying the things that they're saying in the streets of the United States of America about what's taking place in the Middle East?
I think it's a combination of an ideological indoctrination. In other words, they tend to reduce the world and to certain ideological prisms they have. So, one of them is to say, okay, everything is colonialism or anti-colonialism, and they identify. It's very easy to get them to identify countries as colonialists, which is ridiculous, and they're indigenous to the region. The colonialism existed before Israel, when Britain had a mandate. So it's a combination, I think, of ideological indoctrination and ignorance. I mean, the amount of ignorance about the region that I see these students and protesters express is unbelievable. Again, the press is complicit in it because they publish outright lies. I mean, how many stories did the New York Times have to quietly retract after they published photos, for example, of kids who were supposedly starving, but who actually had significant medical problems that the Israelis were caring for? So I just advise people not to believe just about anything they read about what's going on in Gaza from the mainstream press. I mean, I think it's a combination of that. And a willingness, again, to engage in harassment, intimidation, violence, not to engage on an intellectual level. It involves the putting of emotions ahead of thinking. I was listening to Amy Coney Barrett because she has a book out and she's doing a long-form interview, and it's on the Hewitt show. So I'm sorry, it's a competitor, I guess.
That's okay. We'll take it. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, she went on and she said, raising her parents always told her, don't let your emotions control you. And she said, we have taught that to our kids. She said, I put it up in index cards on the refrigerator. And there's a lot of our young people need to learn that lesson, I think. Now, when you see these polls about how many of our young people support violence in response to speech, remember, and it's bad because it's like 38%, but I mean 62% of them don't. So, we've got some work to do, but I'm not down on the younger generation.
I want to ask you, Senator Talent, about there's so much emotion that comes from these protester groups. They're very passionate people. What I hear you saying is they're incredibly misinformed, and what they're protesting for often directly opposes a lot of the groups that make up the protests that are taking place in the United States. And I'm wondering, is it conspiratorial? Is it Annie's reading Twitter at 2 a.m. because she can't sleep and she's going down rabbit holes that she shouldn't? Is it conspiratorial, or is it obvious that there would be foreign countries interested in investing in misinforming and riling up American citizens, Americans as a whole, to protest their government? I mean, the effort that is made to misinform these people and then to get them very emotionally invested. I mean, I would assume that it makes it difficult.
I'm sorry, Annie. It's not conspiratorial at all. Yes, there are foreign sources. A lot of that is Qatari money. The gutter is a difficult problem, and the administration is trying to deal with it a little bit like Turkey, in the sense they cause a lot of trouble. They are also avenues that we can use, or they represent avenues we can use when we need them. So it's a difficult problem. It's not just the Qataris. But yes, there's a lot of money coming in, a lot of organization coming in from outside the United States. I think the administration, I'm sure, has already been investigating Antifa and how it's organized and who funds it. That is going to step up now in the wake of Charlie's death. So, yes, it's a lot of that. I think social media adds to it. I mean, one of the few things I've disagreed about with the Trump administration is the delay in shutting down TikTok, because TikTok is controlled by the Chinese, and there's no question that they structure those algorithms to get across the messages they want the people on TikTok to hear. And I understand the president, because he's thinking from a business standpoint, and I get that. But we need to either get that sold to an American company, or he needs to shut it down. And they've been delaying doing that, and that needs to happen. So, but it's not just that problem. I mean, Annie, it would take a really good psychologist to go through all the reasons. Social media is part of it, but we've got a job to do in the country.
Yeah. Senator Talent speaking with us right now. I was just thinking about this last night. We're all searching for sense in an incredibly senseless act, certainly with Charlie Kirk. But I was thinking specifically about TikTok last night. And we've had many conversations about if somebody wanted to radicalize Americans, TikTok is probably the best way to do it, because you can control algorithms. You can control people's worldview through the thing that they can't put down that's in their pocket or hand all the time. If you wanted to radicalize Americans, you would do it through TikTok. But if you wanted to try to destroy America from within, you would radicalize half of them. And you would take a Charlie Kirk, who has resonated with many people, and make sure that they can thrive on that platform as well, because that breeds division. And then we're left with what we have right now, which is kind of a civil war of words.
Yeah, and unfortunately not just of words. Well, another issue is what our kids are being taught, and the failures, not just the failures of the education system to teach kids what they ought to be taught, but indoctrination and other things. A lot of these kids on the campuses they've been in a bubble for a long time. They went to prep schools that taught them these things, and now they're in colleges that have taught them these things. The colleges have kept out faculty members who would have been dissenters. And in recent years, that's been people, who are traditional liberals or just independent thinking left-wing people. That's the interesting thing is that this battle is to a significant degree an intra-left-wing battle. I mean, if you look at all the dissenting voices that have emerged from the left and are now so effectively attacking the progressive or identitarian left. I mean, I was making a list the other day, and there was like 24 names, and I could have gone on more. I've been reading Andy Ngo, or Andy Go. I can never pronounce his last name. He's the best chronicler of Antifa. He's not a Republican, or he wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, Barry Weiss is another, Matt Taibbi, Michael Schellenberger. I mean, the list goes on of people on the left who were kicked out because they dissented. All these, Tara Dansky, who I saw a video of her interviewing with Charlie Kirk, a very effective women's rights campaigner, a radical feminist, but she's upset about the transgender agenda. And so there's all these people who are joining us, if you will, and those are the people I think that the vice president was reaching out to. They're not all going to become Republicans like me, but they believe in free speech. They believe in real human rights. They believe in making decisions based on reality, and they believe in treating people like people, and they're natural allies.
Well, we always appreciate your words with us here, Senator Talent. We hope you'll come back very soon. Lots to talk about, and you're always a voice of calm and wisdom, and we're grateful for it.
So are you, Annie. You're doing good work.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Senator Talent, former United States Senator from Missouri, former congressman, chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council. I love speaking with him. He calms me. All right, we're going to take a very quick break. When we come back, we are going to hear from the Utah County District Attorney on the charges. They are seeking the death penalty. And when we come back, we'll hear about some of those charges right here on The Annie Frey Show. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. Call Matt Hayes and have him come look at the cracked concrete at your home, at your place of business. Have him assess the situation and give you a very understandable estimate of what he can do so that when you enter into that agreement with him, you've got eyes wide open. And pretty soon, concrete, nicely leveled, no more liability, no more danger, no more trip hazard. Reach out to Home Shield Foundation Repair and see what they can do for you. It is a cost-effective way to solve the problem of the uneven concrete. Generally speaking, eventually concrete's going to crack one way or another. We know that happens over time. But if the land starts to shift, if erosion starts to cause it to become uneven, it can become a liability, especially at your place of business. You don't want to deal with the cost of having to, have something bad happen, of course. Have it fixed, and have it fixed the cost-effective way with polyjacking at Home Shield Foundation Repair. 314-227-9636. Call him. Tell him Annie sent you. 314-227-9636. Locally owned family business. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Jeff Gray, the Utah County District Attorney, has just announced and is announcing the charges, which include a pursuit of the death penalty for the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Let's listen in to Jeff Gray, Utah County District Attorney.
With bringing justice for Charlie Kirk. I am committed to these aims. I take this responsibility seriously. Today, after reviewing the evidence that law enforcement has collected thus far, I am filing a criminal information charging Tyler James Robinson, age 22, with the following crimes. Count 1, aggravated murder, a capital offense, for intentionally or knowingly causing the death of Charlie Kirk under circumstances that created a great risk of death to others. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony. The state is further alleging aggravating factors on counts 1 and 2 because the defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide. The state is also charging defendant with count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for moving and concealing the rifle used in the shooting. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for disposing the clothing he wore during the shooting. Count 5, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to delete his incriminating texts. Count 6, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to stay silent if police questioned him. And count 7, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor, for committing homicide knowing that children were present and may have seen or heard the murder and did so based on Charlie Kirk's political expression. Also, following the press conference, I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney, based solely on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime. Because we are seeking the death penalty, the defendant will continue to be held without bail in the Utah County Jail. Turning to the 10-page information, these are the allegations. On September 10th, 2025, at approximately 12:23 p.m., Charlie Kirk was shot and killed while speaking to a large crowd on the campus of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. Police found the suspected murder weapon, a bolt-action .30-06 rifle, nearby. Over the next approximately 33 hours, police conducted a manhunt for the shooter until the evening of September 11th, 2025, when Tyler James Robinson surrendered to police at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. DNA consistent with Robinson was found on the rifle's trigger. After shooting Mr. Kirk, Robinson hid the gun, discarded the clothing he wore when he fired the rifle, and told his roommate to delete incriminating text messages and not talk to police. Children were present at the time of the shooting. The shooting. Turning Point USA, a nonprofit organization founded in 2012 by Charlie Kirk, organized a public outdoor event to be held at noon on September 10th, 2025 at UVU. The event was the first in a series of similar events to be held at college campuses nationwide. Mr. Kirk is a well-known conservative activist famous for these type of events where he discusses various political issues and debates with audience members. His events and comments have garnered a significant number of supporters and drawn the ire of many who disagree with his political views. The event at UVU was announced far in advance and garnered significant publicity and interest. Consequently, several hundred people attended. Mr. Kirk was interacting with a crowd before the event officially got underway. Then, at approximately noon, Mr. Kirk seated himself under a portable canopy behind a table and microphone. He began speaking to the crowd and fielding questions from attendees, a format Mr. Kirk commonly used at his events. Mr. Kirk allowed his questioners to approach a microphone positioned directly in front of him. Mr. Kirk's team members were very close to him on his right and left, as well as some behind his canopy, and others at various close locations near him. The large crowd surrounded Mr. Kirk on three sides. Temporary metal fencing separated attendees from Mr. Kirk by only a matter of feet. Directly above and behind Mr. Kirk was the UVU Hall of Flags, an indoor walkway spanning several hundred feet with floor-to-ceiling glass windows which overlooked the plaza where Mr. Kirk was seated. People were in the walkway at the time of the shooting. Approximately 15 minutes into the event, Mr. Kirk was answering a question about mass shootings by transgender individuals when a gunshot rang out. The bullet struck Mr. Kirk in the neck. He slumped to the ground almost immediately. The bullet's trajectory passed closely to several other individuals beside Mr. Kirk, including the questioner who was standing directly in front of Mr. Kirk. Children were visible near Mr. Kirk's stage when he was shot. Mr. Kirk was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was declared deceased. The medical examiner's report is still pending. So UVU surveillance. So at the moment of the shot, a UVU police officer was watching the crowd from an elevated vantage point. As soon as he heard the shot, he began to scan the area for threats. Believing the shot came from a rifle because of its sound, he looked for potential sniper positions. He noted a roof area approximately 160 yards away from Mr. Kirk as a potential shooting position and rushed there to look for evidence. The suspected shooting position is adjacent to an open, publicly accessible walkway. To access the suspected location, a person must climb over a railing and then drop to the roof only slightly below. The UV officer climbed over the railing and down onto the roof. He then walked to the suspected shooting position and confirmed a clear shooting corridor between the position and Mr. Kirk's seat. He also noticed markings in the gravel rooftop, consistent with a sniper having lain on the roof, impressions in the gravel potentially left by the elbows, knees, and feet of a person in a prone shooting position. Police reviewed surveillance from the camera covering the roof and discovered that it recorded an individual dressed in dark clothing cross the railing from the public walkway and drop onto the roof at approximately 12:15 p.m. Although the individual moved out of the camera's view for a short time, the camera again captured the individual running across the roof and then low crawling to the area the UVU officer recognized as where the suspected sniper had dropped into a prone shooting position. After a short time, which matches the known time of the shot, the individual arose and ran across the roof to the northeast. This discovery led to an intensive review of UVU surveillance recordings to attempt to track and identify the suspect. Surveillance revealed the following. At approximately 11:51 a.m., the suspect entered campus from the north. He is seen wearing a black shirt with an American flag in the center, a dark baseball cap, and large sunglasses. Throughout the surveillance, the suspect keeps his head down and rarely raises his head enough to get a clear image of his face. As he proceeds across the campus, he is seen walking with an unusual gait. The suspect walks with very little bending in his right leg, consistent with a rifle being hidden in his pants. This unusual gait continues until the suspect is seen crossing the railway off the open walkway and onto the roof, where he leaves the camera's view. A camera later captures the suspect as he runs across the roof to the suspected shooting position. Immediately after the shot was fired, a camera captures the suspect running across the roof, carrying an item whose shape is consistent with a rifle. The suspect is then seen climbing down from the roof. He appears to drop the item he was carrying as he hits the ground in a controlled fall. He then picks up the item and runs toward the northeast end of campus. Expanded crime scene investigation. Law enforcement officers followed the suspect's escape path to the northeast end of campus, where they believe the suspect left campus and entered a wooded area. In that wooded area, investigators found a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a towel. The rifle contained 1 spent round and 3 unspent rounds. This is consistent with the facts officers observed at the time of and immediately after the shootings. No shell casings were found on the roof, suggesting a bolt action rather than an auto-loading weapon, and only a single round was fired. Each round in the rifle contained an etched inscription as follows. The fired cartridge was etched, "No Tice's bulge, OWO, what's this?" The second cartridge that was again not spent, the last 3 were not spent, were not fired. The second, "Hey fascist, catch," with arrow symbols. The third cartridge, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." The fourth cartridge, "If you read this, you are gay," LMAO. The rifle, ammunition rounds, and towel were sent for forensic processing. DNA consistent with defendant was found on the trigger, other parts of the rifle, the fired cartridge casing, 2 of the 3 unfired cartridges, and the towel. Law enforcement was unable to immediately locate the shooter, so they published photos of the shooter from the UVU surveillance cameras and asked for the public's help to identify him. Meanwhile, law enforcement continued to try to identify the shooter through other means. The Washington County investigation. On the evening of September 11th, 2025, as law enforcement continued their investigation, Tyler James Robinson went to the Washington County Sheriff's Office with his parents and a family friend to turn himself in. Robinson's mother stated that the following to police. On September 11th, 2025, the day after the shooting, Robinson's mother saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought the shooter looked like her son. Robinson's mother called her son and asked him where he was. He said he was at home sick, and that he had also been at home homesick on September 10th. Robinson's mother expressed concern to her husband that the suspect shooter looked like Robinson. Robinson's father agreed. Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. Robinson's father reported that when his wife showed him the surveillance image of the suspected shooter in the news, he agreed that it looked like their son. He also believed that the rifle that police suspected the shooter used matched a rifle that was given to his son as a gift. As a result, Robinson's father contacted his son and asked him to send a photo of the rifle. Robinson did not respond. However, Robinson's father spoke on the phone with Robinson. Robinson implied that he planned to take his own life. Robinson's parents were able to convince him to meet at their home. As they discussed the situation, Robinson implied that he was the shooter and stated that he couldn't go to jail and just wanted to end it. When asked why he did it, Robinson explained there is too much evil and the guy, referring to Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate. They talked about Robinson turning himself in and convinced Robinson to speak with a family friend who is a retired deputy sheriff. At Robinson's father's request, the family friend met with Robinson and his parents and convinced Robinson to turn himself in. The family friend spoke to police and reported telling Robinson that it would be best if he brought all evidence with him to the sheriff's office to avoid police having to search his parents' home. The friend also asked Robinson if he had any clothes that were related to what he did. Robinson replied that he had disposed of the clothes in different areas. The roommate. Police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting, and he did provide those messages to police. On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing, look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." Police found a photograph of this note. The following text exchange then took place. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." Roommate, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" Robinson, I am. I'm sorry." Roommate, "I thought they caught the person." Robinson, "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering." Roommate, "Why?" Robinson, "Why did I do it?" Roommate, "Yeah." Robinson, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it." Roommate, "How long have you been planning this?" Robinson, "A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it." Robinson again, "I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. IDEK if it's had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The F in messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notice bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke all right. I'm going to have to leave it. That really effing sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine, IDK. I think that was a $2K dollar scope. Wink, wink. Robinson again, delete this exchange. Again, Robinson, my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me, RN, not answering. Robinson, since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. Robinson, I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. Again, you are all I worry about, love. That came from Robinson. Roommate, I'm much more worried about you. Robinson, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. The search for Robinson's residence. Police executed a search warrant on Robinson's residence. During that search, police discovered a shell casing with etchings like the etchings found on the shells in the rifle near UVU. Police also found several target boards with bullet holes in Robinson's home. Now, as I stated in the beginning, when I read those allegations, these are allegations. And like the evidence set forth in this statement, those allegations, what you've heard from the media, even from state and federal officials, has not been tested in the crucible of a jury trial. I understand the public's desire to know the facts. My own family members have pressed me for information. Why are we reluctant to share the details of the investigation itself and comment on the case? Because I want to ensure a fair and impartial trial. I became a prosecutor because of my love for the ideals of this great country and the principles embedded in our Constitution. The free exchange of ideas and opinions is critical to this great American experiment, but so too are the protections afforded to the accused found in the Fifth and Sixth Amendments. The right against self-incrimination, the right to a speedy and public trial, the right to the effective assistance of counsel, the right to confront one's accusers, and the right to compel the attendance of witnesses. And perhaps most importantly, under our Constitution, the accused is presumed innocent until we, the state, prove to an impartial jury of defendant's peers his guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. That jury cannot rely on our allegations, on what they hear in the news, or on what they hear from a public official. The jury is the sole trier of fact, and they will ultimately determine those facts based on evidence a trial judge has determined is admissible. Again, as prosecutors, we bear the burden to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. But make no mistake, we welcome this burden. I'd like to now introduce my trial team who will be charged with prosecuting the case. This is a veteran and expert team of some of the state's best trial attorneys. Chad Grunander, who is one of my two chief deputies, Ryan McBride and David Sturgill on the far right there. And those two were very much involved in preparing search warrants, did a phenomenal job, worked day and night to see that accomplished well after he was, Robinson was taken into custody. Also, Lauren Hunt, she is one of our special victims prosecutors, and Chris Ballard, my second chief deputy, who will be handling motions. I'm going to explain just the procedural steps. We're not a grand jury. We don't have a grand jury system like the federal courts do. It's a preliminary hearing system. So the arrest and filing of the criminal information are merely the first steps in the criminal justice process. Today at 3 p.m., the defendant will appear before a judge in the Utah 4th District Court for his first appearance to be informed of these charges and to ensure that he has an attorney to represent him. The hearing will be brief. The judge will conduct that first appearance virtually via WebEx. This is not unusual. In the 4th District, all felony first appearances for defendants who are in custody are held virtually. A link to that hearing is available for media on the Utah State Court's X account at Utah State Courts. Now, following defendant's first appearance, he will be entitled to a preliminary hearing. At that hearing, the state will be required to show probable cause that defendant committed the crimes. The purpose of the preliminary hearing is not to determine guilt, but simply to assure the court that the prosecution has enough evidence to proceed to trial. If a judge finds probable cause and binds the case over for trial, an arraignment hearing will be held. At that hearing, a judge will again inform defendant of the charges against him and require him to enter a plea to each charge. The next step following the arraignment is an opportunity for the parties to file any relevant motions and then ultimately the trial itself. This case has generated a tremendous amount of interest across our nation and even the world. The public's desire for information is understandable, but it bears reiterating that this case will be tried in a court of law consistent with our Constitution, not the court of public opinion. Thus, we will only discuss the case with the press occasionally. It will not be a day-to-day or even week-to-week occurrence, but we will only do so in a manner as not to jeopardize the fair trial process. Before I conclude, I want to express my appreciation for the tireless work of our local, state, and federal law enforcement officers. They have an extremely difficult, dangerous, and often thankless job. I'm proud to acknowledge the exceptional work they do every day, and particularly their work on this case. It was truly a marvel to witness. Their skilled work and dedication have brought us to this point. I'm also grateful for the leadership demonstrated by Bo Mason, the Commissioner of the Utah Department of Public Safety, FBI Special Agent in Charge Rob Bowles, Utah County Sheriff Mike Smith, our local police chiefs, and Felice John Vitti, the acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Utah. I'm also grateful for the support of our Governor, Spencer Cox, and our Attorney General, Derek Brown, who is standing behind me today and has offered his support and resources as we proceed to trial. Finally, I want to thank our Utah County Commissioners, Amelia Powers Gardner, Brandon Gordon, and Skylar Beltran. They too have pledged to assist with the resources needed to successfully prosecute this case. I will now take a few questions.
For questions, ladies and gentlemen, just really fast, if you could identify yourself and what organization. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Investigation uncover any individuals that may have known about this shooting in advance?
They are still looking into it. It's an undergoing investigation.
So is that a possibility?
They haven't ruled that out.
Ed Lavendero with CNN, the text message that you exchanged with the roommate, can you kind of give us a sense of, did that happen over several hours? Did it happen before?
I don't have that information.
Emily Anderson, Star-Solid Tribune. I know, acknowledging that you made this decision to pursue the death penalty independently, did you hear it all from the Trump administration or Governor Cox's administration as you were working on these charges?
I talked to officials from both administrations, but I was not pressured to make a decision. I understood their feelings on it because it was in the news, but we didn't really discuss that.
Mr. Gray, Garrett Tenney with Fox News. Do you have any indication that transgender issues played a role in the motivations for this shooter?
I'm going to stick to what I just stated in my public, in our information. I think that is pretty much set forth there.
Mr. Gray, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News. Just asking, are you planning to file additional charges against anyone else in connection with this?
Again, we don't have any information at this point of additional suspects, but I know that our law enforcement agencies are continuing to follow leads.
Mr. Gray, the FBI director today said that you are, quote, or that other people, a number of people are being investigated and interrogated. So it seems that there are people who might be up for possible.
Yeah, I'm not.
Was it lone wolf, or could this be part of
I can't comment on that. I'm not aware of all their investigation. I just know that these agencies are continuing to investigate this case and follow all leads.
Janet Tillman with BBC News. Would like to know, how does this possibly interface with any federal charges?
That's up to the feds. They have different charges, and they're reviewing the evidence. And after they review the evidence and the law, they could file charges, but I'm not privy to exactly what they're looking at.
Janet Tillman with the BBC. You spoke a lot about text messages with the roommate. The governor previously said the roommate is cooperating, but could we see charges against the roommate?
Again, I'm not prepared to answer that question.
Is it unusual to cite political motivation as an aggravating circumstance?
It's part of our code, and so we charge that.
For those that aren't of a legal mind, is this a confession to text messages? Text messages? Is that legally a confession? And is he cooperating since he's...
Ultimately, a judge will determine that at trial.
And cooperation. Cooperation. Has he been cooperating?
Again, I'm not going to comment on that.
Any statements at all?
Mr. Gray, or ABC News.
Okay.
What would you tell us about the suspect's time online that some say radicalized him?
I am not aware of that information. That's, again, still under investigation.
And has he expressed any remorse so far about this?
I am not going to comment on that.
Is he continuing to not cooperate?
I am not going to comment on that.
Mr. Gray, the FBI director has been way out in front in terms of presenting evidence to the public. Your team has been very circumspect, very measured in what they let out. Does that hamper your investigation and the build-up to this?
Well, as attorneys, we typically like to control that information to preserve an impartial jury and a fair trial.
So has there been an investigation?
Excuse me? I don't have that information.
Can you tell us more about what the family may have said in interviews?
What the family said is what I provided.
Do you anticipate that the defense will try to get this trial moved out of Utah County, and how will you respond to that?
That from where?
From Utah County.
That the defense will be from Utah County?
That they will try to get the trial moved.
I couldn't predict what they're going to do.
You say for any of this just the timing of the shot and the question that was asked about mass shootings transgender, is that more than coincidence?
That will be for a jury to decide.
Mr. Gray, are you confident that the roommate had no part of this attack whatsoever?
Again, I'm not going to comment on the evidence.
But the evidence so far does show any involvement.
Again, I'm not going to comment on other than the facts that or the evidence that we've gathered so far.
During the press conference, jeopardize his right to a fair trial?
I don't believe so. This is part of a public document that we have to file as we file a criminal information. We have to file a probable cause statement. That's a public document, and so we're comfortable with that.
You've been listening to the Utah County District Attorney speaking about the charges. A lot of information there. We wanted to let you have it in long form so that you could consume it. Will Chamberlain, when we come back, is that still happening? All right, Will has been willing to hold on for us, so we're going to get to Will Chamberlain to break everything you've just heard down next.
Take
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. Easy to reach by a phone call or a text message, whichever is convenient to you, at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Of course, everybody's watching to see what the Fed does this week. We'll be talking to Stewie a little bit later to find out, later this week, to find out exactly what it might mean for your mortgage. But if you're in the position right now where you know you're going to be purchasing a new home, you want to get the best possible deal on that new mortgage you're going to get for your home. Why not get a Bagel Loan, which comes with $0 in closing costs? No charge, no fees, not on you, and it's not rolled into the loan, so it's not like you have to deal with it later. Call Stewie at 314-324-4440 and talk to him about your mortgage situation. Equity gone up significantly in your home? Maybe you want to pull some of it out to do some home renovations, pay off high-interest debt, maybe school, tuition, whatever it might be. Talk to Stewie and see how he can help you get to where you need to be with a closing cost-free Bagel Loan. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Attention St. Louis Medicaid residents in need of care at home. If you need assistance with daily activities, you can receive in-home care from a loved one that lives with you and they get paid. Through Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care at home in St. Louis, and they get paid weekly. Available to eligible Medicaid members in St. Louis. Call now to check your eligibility. It can be your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid. Freedom Care has over 7,000 five-star Google reviews and is a leading choice in St. Louis for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want to receive great care from a loved one, go to freedomcare.com or for faster service call 314-597-1749. 314-597-1749. That's 314-597-1749.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. Charges filed in Utah on Lisa Brady.
The murder of Charlie Kirk is an American tragedy.
Utah County District Attorney Jeff Gray just announcing multiple charges against Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old accused of killing Charlie Kirk last Wednesday at Utah Valley University. Charges including aggravated murder and a felony firearm count.
The state is further alleging aggravating factors on counts 1 and 2 because the defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide.
Robinson could face the death penalty if convicted. He's also charged with obstruction and witness tampering. The prosecutor says Robinson's mother told police he had become more political over the last year or so and started to date his roommate, who was transitioning genders. The roommate providing text messages to police from after the shooting.
Roommate, you weren't the one who did it, right? Robinson, I'm sorry.
And then later in the same exchange.
Roommate, why? Robinson, why did I do it? Roommate, yeah. Robinson, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence.
Investigators found the rifle in a wooded area. Gray says Robinson's DNA was on the trigger. Robinson is set to make his first court appearance to hear the charges, appearing virtually from the county jail. The FBI also investigating comments reportedly made about the shooting in an online chat that included many people, focusing in part on whether anyone knew anything about the shooting beforehand. Robinson could still face federal charges. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The September summer bake still in play. Partly sunny, hot, moderate humidity going through our Tuesday afternoon. Just a tiny chance of a pop-up thunderstorm. Most will not see anything at all. 95 for the high. Tonight, mostly clear. 69 Wednesday and Thursday. Partly sunny, hot, moderate humidity. A spot storm possible each day, and each day, 95. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 56 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Rain.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
So we've been listening to the press conference with the district attorney in Utah talk about the charges that are going to be levied against the assassin of Charlie Kirk, the alleged assassin. Lots of evidence that was indicated in that press conference, and we're very grateful that our 1:30 guest was willing to hold on this long to talk to us about what he's also just heard. Obviously, he's much more educated in many things, including legal issues. Will Chamberlain joins us now. He is a senior counsel at the Article 3 Project. Will, thank you for being with us. I don't know how much you've studied criminal law, but you have to have some sort of thoughts ruminating about what we've heard now. And also, Charlie Kirk died about 45 minutes after you and I spoke last week. And
gosh, that's crazy to think about. Sorry.
It seemed like a really the world is different since the last time we spoke. I want to give you an opportunity to speak.
I think we'll just talk about the immediate issue, which was this press conference. It looks to me like the Utah prosecutors know exactly what they're doing. The big challenge from their perspective is not going to be proving that there was a murder here or that Tyler Robinson was the person who convicted it. Honestly, the real challenge is going to be making sure that they can prove it as what's called an aggravated murder in Utah, and therefore be able to seek a death sentence. And so much of what the press conference revolved around, especially in the early parts, was discussing various ways in which they could make this, could charge this as an aggravated murder. And they pointed out how there were other people very close to Charlie Kirk on the stage and in the audience, how there were children watching, how Charlie's political views were at stake. Now, the political views, I'm not sure that fits the statute properly, but certainly the idea of putting other people in danger, and in particular doing so near children, is those are different statutory elements. So they're not just picking one; they're putting out a number of different ways to cover their bases here to make sure they can prove aggravated murder. And then they're also charging him belt and suspenders with a slew of other minor, lesser charges, dealing with the fact that there's a lot of things he did to try and cover up his involvement, from, wearing all this clothing to hiding the gun, to telling his roommate to go pick up the gun, to telling his roommate, don't talk to the police. There's a lot that went into trying to get away with this murder, and that's a crime too.
We're speaking with Will Chamberlain, senior counsel at the Article 3 Project, on X at Will Chamberlain. Definitely a good follow there. From a legal standpoint, of course, X is a general cesspool of a bunch of conspiratorial thought processes on any given day. There's a lot going on surrounding this story right now. I'm curious of your assessment of what the FBI has done so far, but also the local law enforcement.
I think they probably did the right thing here. I don't know. I'm certainly not an expert enough in police procedure to tell them that they're doing things wrong. And it seems they managed to track down the guy within 48 hours. I've seen some takes that say, well, it was the family who did it. And I don't want to say, well, the perp in this case was actively trying to avoid detection, doing things like not bringing a phone with him, wearing a sunglasses and hat. He's doing a lot of things to make it hard without somebody who knows the guy being able to point the finger at him. He's doing it hard just to make a general identification of him, but there's still all this video evidence of the guy. And so, the FBI does this routinely, as far as I know. They once they have a visual confirmation of the suspect, but they don't have any direct identifying information of him personally, they put the pictures out there and they ask the public for help, which is just a logical thing to do. And that indeed worked here. You managed to get the guy within 36 hours, 40 something hours. That's very impressive. It seems like they've managed to, they're tracing down the leads of all the types of evidence. I think if there's a flaw in what the FBI has done, you're not going to see that come about until trial, which is if some evidence manages to get excluded that should otherwise be included. But I wouldn't, based on what I've seen, I see no reason to doubt that the FBI did a competent and appropriate job in terms of investigating this murder.
Can you speak, we're talking with Will Chamberlain. Will, can you speak to the difference between the state charges, Utah law, versus whether or not federal charges would be brought, and how those differ for people who don't understand the separation there?
Sure. So there's no federal police power. And what that means is that there's no simple federal crime for murder just as murder. There's a federal crime for murder on federal property or murder in the process of interstate commerce, because the idea is that the federal government is one of limited and enumerated powers, and the broad policing power, the ability to criminalize normal things, is left to the states. So what that means is that, the states are normally the place where straightforward murder, assault, battery, armed robbery are prosecuted. And so that's where you see the charges in this case. You have a state aggravated murder charge, which is a murder one statute that can have the death penalty attached. You have state gun crimes, state obstruction of justice crimes that are being charged. When the feds come to look at this, if they do, I think the real question is whether or not the state will be able to prove the death sentence charge, this aggravated murder, as we discussed. If they can't, then you might see the feds come in with a conspiracy against rights charge. And so the idea here is that the reason there's a federal jurisdictional hook is because this murder was conducted as a means to shut Charlie Kirk up, as a way to kill him because of his political viewpoints, because of the fact that he was engaging in freedom of speech, freedom of association, petitioning the government for redress. Because that if there was a conspiracy to shut that down via death, there is a federal statute that says if you do that, you conspire against rights and it leads to a death, that can lead to a death penalty charge. So that's where the federal, that's the jurisdictional hook, that's the language we would use to describe it. The fact that there's a federal constitutional right implicated.
One of the pieces of evidence that was delivered in this press conference that we just listened to here was a communication between the alleged shooter, Robinson, and his transgender boyfriend, and he said, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. Is that part of what might lead into those federal charges, where it is based on, there's a motive indicated there of he needed to shut him up because he didn't like what he was saying?
Exactly right. That's exactly right. And if there was any agreement beforehand, other people would have been involved in this conspiracy, perhaps. That's exactly the kind of evidence you would point to say that this murder wasn't just some random murder. It was done with the explicit purpose of suppressing Charlie Kirk's constitutional right to speak.
Will Chamberlain speaking with us right now, senior counsel at the Article 3 Project. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about Charlie Kirk, because we're talking a lot about his death. And I have a 15-year-old son, and my 15-year-old son knows more about Charlie Kirk than the adults in my life. And, it's affecting all of us in a through the internet kind of way. you might have a different perspective on it. I want to ask you about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, I knew him personally. I met him first in late 2019 and in 2020 in the middle of some COVID. Maybe I guess it might have been 2021. No. It was 2020 because it was peak COVID. I flew out to Arizona on an empty flight because it was COVID and nobody was flying. And spent about a weekend with Charlie at the Turning Point compound. And the man I got to know, and he would have been 26 at the time, I guess, 25, 26. This incredibly energetic, hardworking, and thoughtful young man. A lot of people gave Charlie a lot of hate because, especially early on in his career, maybe they felt like his viewpoints weren't well developed. Well, he was 21. He got started so young in this game that people needed to give him a second to figure out what he thought about the world. I don't think anything about. You look at what I said when I was 21. I probably agree with none of it. And I think that's true for many of us.
Sure.
But he was a remarkably thoughtful and pragmatic, effective, a natural-born leader, and with an just totally indefatigable work ethic. Like the kind of guy who could work hours and hours and hours. I'd just come off of practicing in big law, and he reminded me a lot of the people in my big law firm who were able to succeed in that environment because of what was clearly just an incredible work ethic and incredible endurance. And then you combine that with a guy who's just got profound, really strong grounded values in his faith, a wonderful family man, a great husband, a great father. And you just have a man who's extremely difficult to replace, highly competent, and managed to reach the summit of conservative politics at the age of 31. It's an incredible feat. And who knows if we'll see somebody of Charlie's ilk again. I hope we do. But it's a profound loss. I can't help but feel terribly, terribly sorry and so sad for his wife and his children who will miss him dearly. I miss him very much. It's hard to, know that a guy. I mean, I wouldn't say that we were close friends or anything. I didn't correspond with him regularly, but he'd have me on the show every six months or so. And it's weird to, someone and somebody who I could have called if I needed something from Charlie. I knew that I could have called him, no problem. And that person's now gone, robbed from us by a leftist assassin. And I won't forget it, and I won't forgive it, and I certainly won't forgive the people who are celebrating it.
Will Chamberlain speaking with us right now. One of the questions that we're asking our audience, we ask a YouTube poll each day, and is this a both sides issue? Do you feel like we're going through a moment in our history timeline where both sides need to reflect?
No, absolutely not. If both sides needed to reflect, then the downtowns of our major cities would be boarded up in fear of riots, but they're not. Everybody knows that the right is not going to riot. Everyone, every business, every leftist, everybody knows we're not going to riot. And of course we haven't, because we don't. Because there was the one riot, that one time, January 6th, that obviously nobody lets the right forget about. But as a default, there's a default understanding that when something unfair or a person, the left decides to make a stink about somebody dying, that there will be riots in the streets and looting and the destruction of our inner cities. And that's never true when it's the right. So no. And I'm also sorry that, I saw James Lankford bring up the Oklahoma City bombing 30 years ago or something when Charlie was 1 and I was 9 as some comparison to the idea that this is a both sides issue. I'm sorry, with Donald Trump having been there, attempted assassinations on the president of the United States twice in a 3 or 4 month period just a year ago, and now the assassination of the most prominent activist on the conservative side. The political violence is fundamentally a left-wing problem in this country. Attempting to assign blame to the right for political violence is offensive.
Will Chamberlain, we thank you for being with us, for assessing what we've heard in that press conference. And I hope to have you back very soon. The story is not going away, and we appreciate your insight each time we have the opportunity to take it.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Of course, as always. Will Chamberlain with the Article 3 Project, Senior Counsel there, at Will Chamberlain on X, article3project.org. A great organization to check out and see the work that they're doing. It's good work. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Got a little jingle on a Tennessee Saturday night. Couldn't feel better. I'm together with my Dixieland delight. Spend my dollar.
Point Pest Control, point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com. If you are dealing with that seasonal shift Gosh, it's kind of hot outside, so it feels like summer. But anytime the seasons shift, it seems like the critters like to shift as well. You want Point Pest Control on speed dial to make sure that your problems don't come into your home. I'm a quarterly service plan subscriber myself, happy to pay that fee once a quarter to make sure that we don't have bugs in our house. It is a wonderful thing. If you call 636-798-0023, you too can subscribe to the same service that I do. If you are dealing with the potential of mice that might be coming into your home once the weather outside starts to get wet and cold, you can call Point Pest Control for that as well. Ants, spiders, crickets, any type of critters, any types of pests that you might have, call Point Pest Control and tell them Annie sent you, and you're going to save an additional 10% off a discount of any specials that they have currently running. 636-798-0023. Call Point Pest Control, Point with an E, at 636-798-0023, or find them online at pointpestcontrol.com.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Mark Reardon, and Annie Fry, along with Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group for the last Protecting Your Retirement educational event of the year. It's Thursday, October 2nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering if your 401k and IRA will last through your lifetime? Do you have your own personalized structured income plan set up? The markets are hitting all-time highs. Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your gains without having to sell? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss the last event of the year.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisor of my show, Thomas Helbig, at the Frontenac Hilton Thursday, October 2nd at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was one hell of a man. Because of Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon with news for listeners who, like me, want to learn more about Bitcoin. Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club is coming to St. Louis later this summer. The Bitcoin Ben Crypto Clubs teach members what Bitcoin is, how to buy it, how to safely store it, and how to avoid scams. And we'll connect with others like us who want to learn more about crypto. St. Louis will be the 7th club nationwide and Ben's hometown. If you want to know more about Bitcoin, you need to know Bitcoin Ben. Learn more at bitcoinben.io. That's bitcoinben.io.
Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort, offering small ship experiences with a shore excursion included in every port and programs designed for cultural enrichment. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com.
Smart talk, strong values. This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Died last night in my dreams, walking the streets of some old ghost town. I tried to believe in God and James Dean, but Hollywood sold out.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. So we're gonna put a pin in the Ethan Swartz and Local for today because we've had such a different day with the press conference there. Did you get to what are your thoughts on what we heard so far, Ryan, regarding death penalty being sought? All of this is in the confines of Utah state law, so federal charges have not been brought at all. We were about to pull out of that, press conference, and while we were listening to it, they started going in because everything that they were saying at the beginning was everything we kind of already knew.
Right.
It was everything that had been put out before they caught him, the video, and articulating, okay, he was on the roof, and then he jumped down from the roof, and then he went to this bush, and so on and so forth. But I'm glad we didn't cut away, because then it got into the stuff that we had not heard yet, and it included text messages between Robinson, the alleged shooter, and his transgender boyfriend who lived with him, which is it's a confession. You know, is it an admissible in court confession? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on how good your lawyer is and how good their lawyer is. But there is a conversation confession of, here is what I did and how I did it and where I'm putting things. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we went into that at about 1:30, and that was the Utah County District Attorney speaking. Now, this dude is not made for TV. He is just there to give you facts.
I love that. I don't want people who are looking at him and maybe not thinking that he's charismatic and being like, oh, I don't know. That's not the guy who needs to have the charisma.
He didn't. It didn't matter. He just stood up and in front of microphones, which he didn't even look really comfortable doing, just read off for 25 minutes mountains and mountains of evidence against this guy, to the point where you're like, professionally, I have to say alleged shooter, because that's what you have to say. But everybody in the world is not looking at this and going, ooh, this is going to be a tough trial. I mean, that text exchange, that's where you go, okay, you can try to figure out by video if he was here and where he dropped the gun and where he went down from the roof. That's all important to the case. And it's important to know where he went in any given moment. But he's giving you where he was in those texts.
Yeah.
As it's happening to his boyfriend, live-in roommate, lover, whatever. He kept calling him love. And so they were clearly dating. There was so much to that I would not believe that there could be any way they could botch that case. I don't want to say that, but it was overwhelming.
Yeah, and the details with which is why we ended up sticking with it, because I want to know all these details. The thing is if we don't carry that live for you, we have to go back and read about it or watch it, and then we can try to report it to you. But I'm pretty sure you want to hear this for yourself as well. So death penalty being sought, and now we go through the process, and maybe federal charges will be added to that. We spoke with Will Chamberlain just now, and he was, the federal part has the federal charge, which could come with an additional death penalty charge, can come in if you can determine motive to commit this murder. The way Will Chamberlain, way more eloquently than I'm going to say it, said it was that if you can prove that, his political speech that he was saying, that he was taken out because of the things he was saying and the thoughts that he was having.
Exactly.
And the text message chain says, I couldn't let him speak anymore.
I mean, that chain crazy. Alone was more than you'd ever really need. But let's say they, for some reason, some technicality, they go, oh, we got to throw that out because he was a dramatic arts major and he was clearly just play acting, or something ridiculous that they would come up with. He also left a note and said in the text, here is where the note is.
Yeah, under the keyboard.
It's not just one thing. It is lots of things. Again, I can't imagine that anybody would be able to botch this case. It is so cut and dry.
Again, I wish you'd stop saying that. But anyway. All right, let's get Trisha and Ethan in here. So we were going to do Ethan Sports and Local, but we're going to punt that. We've got X's and Y's coming up next. So we're going to do boys and girls and differences there. But we wanted to acknowledge a little bit of a birthday because it's important to acknowledge the birthdays on the show.
You sound so disappointed when you say that.
No, we're really excited about it. So Trisha doing the honors here. Very, very excited.
Yes.
You want to
got a very special birthday here.
For somebody who works so hard behind the scenes.
just busts his butt.
Yes.
Day in and day out.
Yeah.
For the entire station. Not just for this show.
Anything that people ask of him.
Anything that people ask for.
It's not just that he does it. He does it with a smile. It's like a pleasure to do business with this person.
I can't think of a coworker that's easier to be around.
Really?
Yeah.
Joyful,
Just
knowledgeable,
kind, smart, helpful,
cutting jawline,
just so tall.
Seems like you're setting this up to not be me.
And young.
I mean, it feels
And
like the joke's
young.
going there.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday,
Ethan. It is so exciting to celebrate this day with you, your cake that is as sweet as you are. Look at that. Here, you got to do it. We don't have a camera for you.
25.
We didn't
That's
plan
a
that
big
far.
birthday.
25. There you go.
Full
Yeah, just get
cake.
in Ryan's camera. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ethan.
We didn't get you a cake for the event last week, so
You know, I'm honored. Who do I want to thank for this? I'll thank Trisha for going out and getting the cake.
Yeah.
I'll thank Annie for having the idea to wait to celebrate my birthday in order to sabotage Ryan's birthday. And yeah, so that's what I got for you guys.
Ryan, happy birthday to you too.
Look, I'm always in favor of a good joke.
Does it look good?
So
It looks tasty,
I
doesn't
will
it?
acknowledge a good joke when I see one. Still don't see one.
This is the exact same joke you made to
confetti
me on my birthday, and you celebrated Leah, and she was standing right there where Trisha was.
And that's exactly why it's not a great joke, because it's used.
I didn't think of it that way, but we do have something for you.
We do.
Really? Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Here it is. Happy birthday,
Happy
Ryan.
A cake
birthday,
pop.
Ryan.
Wow, these things cost more than a cake these days.
Do you know what, Ryan?
That one did not.
That's
I'm sure it did.
that's lower sugar, and we're just thinking of you.
Lower sugar.
Than that
Thoughtful.
cake.
Oh, I like lower sugar, but I
And
like sugar too. So I'll probably eat both.
But you also get, what is it?
It is a happy dino birthday balloon.
Happy birthday,
Ryan! I'm still kind of young.
Are you?
In
Not as
spirit.
young as Ethan. That's why he got a full cake.
That
76
balloon
earlier.
reflects your internal age.
There we go. Did you get this at Dollar Tree?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
Is that a Deerberg's balloon?
It's a Schnucks
It's a
balloon.
Schnucks balloon?
Yeah.
You should
Schnucks
attach
finest.
it to your shirt.
Happy Dino birthday.
At Dollar Tree, not only do you get them for $1.25, but you have to wait like 40 minutes.
For him to fill them up. And think about what you've done. I said I had good news and I had bad news. The bad news is that I forgot the things that I got you for your birthday.
No, that can't be true.
They're at home. The good news is that we're going to celebrate your birthday all week. And here today with this nice gift.
Okay.
From the team.
I
Happy
accept.
birthday.
Thank you so
Ethan and Ryan,
much for this
in that
balloon
order.
and this small thing.
I was going to mail it in and have her get you something, a part of what I was getting, and just give it to you and not worry about the other thing. But I want to give you the other thing. So you just have to wait.
I say waiting is always best when the gift is bigger and more expensive.
Well, at your age, it's kind of a risk to wait, but we will.
No, I'm fine. Health-wise. I plan on being here all week.
All right. Well, we're going to do X's and Y's. Trisha's going to stick around. Boys and girls, what's the difference? Well, we get down to the bottom of it next on X's and Y's. If you've got questions you want to ask the crew, we'd love to have them on the Annie Fry YouTube chat. We'll be right back.
My heart is a ghost town. My heart is a ghost.
TheDiamondShop.net, shopping for somebody's birthday, somebody really special to you, somebody that sparkles on the inside and the outside. Maybe you want to give them something else that sparkles as much as their bright personality. Or maybe you want to get them like a tie restraint. That's what I got my husband one year for our anniversary, which my husband and I celebrated yesterday. Whatever the occasion might be, Christmas is coming up. Maybe you are looking for something special for a September birthday that might be coming up. I want to remind you that at the Diamond Shop, through the rest of this month, they have 40% off all in-stock sapphire jewelry. They have 30% off all in-stock jewelry. And if you sign up to become a VIP, you're going to get an extra little gift with your $200 purchase or more when you become Diamond Shop VIP. They're located in Clayton, and they're wonderful people. They've been in business here in St. Louis since 1910. You'll be very happy to walk in there and immediately feel the pressure kind of relax when you go in, because they're going to talk to you about what your budget is. They're going to learn what you're looking for, and they're going to make sure you're a satisfied customer. TheDiamondShop.net.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey friends, I'm Sharon McMahon, host of Here's Where It Gets Interesting. Each week I speak with authors, experts, and thought leaders on everything from American history and democracy to how to be a better person on the internet. And don't miss my extremely popular docuseries, which educate you on things you never learned in history class. Follow and listen to Here's Where It Gets Interesting on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
This YouTube live chat poll time check is brought to you by Cake Pops.
Sugar.
And less than average sugar, but still some sugar. 2:33, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Cutting through the spin. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative. X's and Y's.
Well, it's been quite a break here for the people who just found us based on the coverage, the news coverage that we do. We're sorry for the disjointed nature of content coverage. So X's and Y's, we ask questions of one another, and we find out the difference between boys and girls. And the first question I'm going to ask of the group is it harder for men or women to age?
It's harder for men. I think women look better longer.
You mean like taller, longer?
Yeah.
If you stretch them out.
If you stretch them out a little bit. If they're kind of short, then like, eh.
Is that really, do you really believe that?
Yeah, I do.
That it's harder for men to age?
Yeah. Well, no, I think men just look the same longer. Women still look good.
Are you only
later.
concerned about the physical appearance of aging?
Yeah.
Trisha?
Yeah. Mentally, everybody's super sharp in here, so we're all good. Except for Ethan.
Hey, I heard that.
I mean, I would argue that men typically physically age more gracefully than women. I think women are beautiful, but women change a lot more, to Ryan's point. So I think that psychologically,
our whole internal system goes through what is called the capital TC, the change.
Yeah.
So your whole function, men don't really have something like that. Am I missing? I'm not a dude. So is there there's no pivotal point in a man's life where like your body was one thing and then it's not. Like women have to do that 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess women have menopause. Men have keep going.
It's your birthday.
So
Women
there-
have menopause.
Yep.
Men have mental keep going.
Meno keep going. Pause versus keep going.
I don't have headphones on. Is this joke landing?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's doing good. You can hear people on the streets applauding.
Do you think it's harder for men or women to age, Ethan?
Um,
You're like, based
I
on
would-
the women I've seen. He's
Yeah.
always,
Based
he's always
on
talking about the
God.
struggles of aging in
Tread
women.
Don't talk about
lightly.
all women, just these.
These? Just these? These?
Go ahead.
Trisha, Annie,
Yeah.
and Ryan.
How are we
I-
aging, Ethan?
Yeah, how's it going?
You guys are doing great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did it all by
Beautiful
myself.
women here on the Annie Fry
Thank
Show.
you.
I would probably say, I mean, I actually at the start would have said men, but it didn't take much for you to convince me otherwise. So, I mean, I was like, that's a pretty compelling argument I feel like you made there. So.
Brad?
I would say there's zero for men. There's like zero societal like judgment and attention paid to the way you age. As a guy, you might think on the inside, oh man, I used to be able to dunk a basketball. I used to have really.
Who among you have been able to dunk a basketball?
Oh, come on. I used to be a mascot for the Timberwolves.
Well, there you go.
No, I think Brad just said, well, men can dunk basketballs and then they can't. Women have menopause.
Timberwolves.
No,
And Ryan said men have men to keep going.
like a guy on the inside would be like, I can't do some of the stuff that I used to be able to do. Oh no, my hairline's receding a little bit. You know, got a little extra flab around the waist, that sort of thing. But that like society,
You're good, Ethan. You're 25.
Society doesn't look at guys and go, oh man, look at how old he's getting, how old he looks. Where society will absolutely judge a woman based on her looks, and so in that sense, I would say I wouldn't want to be judged on just the way I looked. So I think that would be more difficult for a woman who, you know, for whatever reason, has more emphasis put on looks and beauty and external things like that.
Let me ask a follow-up question. Is it harder to be a man or a woman
Woman.
in your experience?
You dabble.
I don't dabble in being a woman. I am. What are you saying?
Specifically, it's got to be harder to be a woman. I mean,
Any disagreement, Brad?
not really.
No, I can't think of anything.
Ethan?
No,
Trisha?
absolutely
No,
none.
I agree.
I can't imagine having to sit while I pee. Oh, that'd be terrible.
Ryan?
I can't imagine it either. I
lives
can't. I
it.
don't even try to imagine it. Like anytime I go pee, I don't even picture it because I'm so
Sitting.
male.
Somebody asked me about your urine stream in the real
Oh,
world.
no.
Why?
It's because we talk
What?
about when we do this segment, we always end up
What do you know
talking
about it?
about the strength of the stream.
Yeah, we do.
And somebody brought it up, and I was like, I can't entertain this conversation. You got to contact him.
Really? Nobody contacted me, just so you know.
Oh, no, I don't think they cared that much.
Or it got flagged by corporate, and they're like, nope.
I was really hoping that one of you gentlemen would try to make the case that it was harder to be a man than a woman. But you're all smart.
Yeah.
They know this room better.
I can't really think of anything where it's easier to be a woman than it is to be a man.
I can't either. Even socially, the patriarchy is winning.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in it. I'm trying to elbow my way in.
At least
Brad,
that's what I've been told my whole life.
X's and Y's, next question.
So this is a makeup question for girls. You've said in the past on this that makeup isn't for guys. But
just do your first question, not your makeup question.
That's what I
Thank you very much.
I thought he was
Thank
going.
you.
No.
Like,
This is a question about makeup. Sorry. let me
Everybody get
rephrase
on
that.
the YouTube chat and flood Ryan with compliments so we only have to do this once.
Yes.
Let's just get in here and make him
No,
feel...
you already told me it's all week. You
So,
promised.
Is there like
You promised.
when girls go out on a date with a guy, they do their makeup a certain way. Is there a different way when you're just going out with the girls? Is it more? Is it less? Who is makeup for?
I don't go out with the girls. I don't have girls.
Like
I have friends.
There's the
go
only
back.
equivalent I have anymore is there is event makeup. Like, I know that I have to be on and see people that need to think that I'm put together. And then there's what I bring here every day.
Therein lies the
You're
point.
like more focused
It's a lie.
on the doing of the makeup.
The
Is that
goal
what it
is to have people not come up and be like, "Are you okay?
Are you tired? You look tired today.
You're like, well, that's strange because I am.
I'm always tired.
I am. But how do
was
you like
trying
my
to fool
mascara
you.
and eyeliner that are supposed
Wouldn't
to
it be weird
fooling
if you could make yourself up before bed to look not tired, though? Like if you laid down in bed and people are like,
Shut up.
dang,
Shut
she
up.
looks fully awake. Like you painted eyes on your eyelids.
We do that.
What's wrong with you?
That'd be awesome. Here's a question for you about makeup. Is makeup getting easier to do because of all the tutorials that are on YouTube? Is it Is it less of a rite of passage where mom has to teach the daughter and more like, oh, I'm just going to go check out what an influencer's doing?
The amount of makeup that is involved in influencer makeup is maybe 30 times more makeup than I wear on any
30?
given times. Any given day.
That's
yes,
crazy.
Trisha?
Yeah. I mean, it takes me less than 2 minutes if
One
I'm
layer
wearing makeup.
of
even full
foundation
makeup.
that has sunscreen in it, and mascara, eyeliner. I put eyebrow stuff on now
Why
because it makes me look
sunscreen?
younger.
What?
Keeps your face from aging.
Yeah, you should be using
Yeah,
sunscreen too. It's
ginger.
important.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Here,
whoa,
I'll give
whoa,
you some of
whoa.
Just a
mine.
daily moisturizer. It
On the
doesn't
day
have to
that
be
we're
tinted.
celebrating my birthday,
Yeah, we're
you
gonna take
throw
care of those
out a
wrinkles?
heavy accusation like that.
No, everybody should be. Just
You should wear makeup when you
SPF
go to the beach, is
moisturizer.
what they're saying.
Mhm. Only mascara though.
Guys,
Yeah.
I had to put on makeup for the first time a
When?
couple of weeks ago
Why?
because I had a TV hit.
Night job.
You had a TV hit? Ooh, did you put on
Wait a
eyeliner?
second. Why don't we know about this?
deal.
Tell us.
Do you not? I thought I told you. I'm sorry.
did.
I
I might have
filled-
ignored it.
I filled in.
I feel bad.
I worked with Randy Carricker on
Oh, yeah.
Matrix Midwest on the fight in the mornings. And
Were you Neo?
what does that mean?
Matrix.
Don't
No.
don't
I don't know what that means.
Don't. Ryan.
But Hannah had to show me how to use the little brush
Yeah?
and everything.
How'd you look?
I looked astonishing.
Can you bring
I
pics?
put on so much though. The problem is like I dabbled the little brush in the powder, and then I was like, oh god, it's too much, and I had to spend the next 10 minutes trying to like.
You know you're supposed to put it on your whole face, not just between your eyebrows.
I put
as
it
you
on my
just
forehead.
indicated.
My
Okay.
forehead.
Little
I had a
shine.
couple of pimples up there,
Mhm.
so I had to try and clear them up. I don't think it worked. I
Ryan,
don't
have you
know.
ever worn makeup?
Mm-hmm.
Did it help?
You put on. Here's the secret to makeup that my mom taught me. There's a rite of passage, like I said. You put on extremely white makeup and a red nose and curly purple hair.
Rudolph
And people are
Shame
like,
on you.
dang, people will definitely check you
Ryan,
out.
X's and Y's. Next question.
Do you like wearing a ring? Do girls get excited about rings because of what it means or because they like having pretty diamonds?
Yes. I don't wear any other rings other than my engagement ring and wedding band. So I'm not looking for more rings. But I'm very not like a costume jewelry person. Do you know the difference between do you know what costume jewelry is?
No.
Costume jewelry is like a piece of jewelry that like can accessorize a particular outfit. It can be like a big bold statement, but if you're gonna get like a set of diamond stud earrings from the diamond shop, which I recommend that you do, those are like diamond studs. That's its own thing. But if you want to wear hoops or if you want to wear something that maybe is color coordinated with your outfit, that's usually more costume jewelry. So costume jewelry, much more affordable.
So like the makeup I wear.
What?
Costume makeup.
Yes. It's the same.
So if I go out right now on the streets of St. Louis wearing my typical makeup.
Wait, hold on. Just to clarify, the typical makeup being the white powder with the red nose
and the curly purple
hair. Got
People
it.
probably give
Just
you
wanna
money.
clarify.
But I
go
go
away.
out
For
with no
what?
shirt
To
and I
leave.
show everybody all my piercings.
Trisha, do you like to wear a lot of jewelry?
Not anymore. The older I get, the less I wear. I like my ring. I've got some gold hoops, but
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
I have a standard issue fair, and I wear jewelry now, which is more than I used to. But as an athlete, I always had to take it off for every game, and I would lose everything. All the nice jewelry I had when I was a kid in high school, I ended up losing.
Was it getting stolen?
No, well, maybe. I don't know. I don't have it. I would have to take it out before I'd play basketball or volleyball or whatever, and I'd just lose it because I was dumb. I regret wearing it. I wish I would have just put that stuff away. My class ring. I was just talking about my class ring with my mom. Somebody came up with this would be crazy if we could make this connect, but there is a Roxana High School class ring from 1998 that is out there on Facebook right now that somebody found. And they're like looking for the owner of it. And I wish so much that somebody would find my ring. I have no idea where I lost it. Don't know. It says Annie on it. I went to Edwardsville High School and Metro, so it's got both high schools on it. It's one of a kind.
You could solve this real quick by saying you went to Roxana in 98.
I didn't. I'm not that old.
I graduated in 99.
Trisha, next question.
Sure. Gentlemen, have you ever felt judged for showing emotions?
Never soft emotions. You get judged for showing bad, angry emotions.
Sad emotions is the one that usually comes to mind with this.
I don't think so.
Not since like middle school, probably, but it's since like actually growing up and adulting, no.
You know you would be though if you did it a lot, which I don't think any of us do. If you catch one of us tearing up, it's pretty rare. The last time before, the news doesn't usually do it, but last Wednesday did a little bit.
Yeah, the Charlie Kirk thing.
I mean, we were
tough.
live, and so we were having to stay, cover it, but we were all tearing up because we didn't know at the time what was happening. I would say that was. There are very few times. I mean, it's a little bit different question here that the news will do that. Mm-hmm. But I remember when David Dorn died. That did it. That did it to me too. Mm-hmm. I really kind of lost it.
Yeah.
That's right here, man.
Yeah.
But there are very few and far between times where I could say that ever happens. I mean, even personally outside the news.
And there's no hesitancy in those like times of tragedy to express your emotions as a man.
I hesitate. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a check on it.
I don't give myself over to it, but I also don't try really hard to hold it back. It's just, I try to get through whatever I'm trying to get through at that moment, and then whatever happens after that. But
there's also for me, I think, certain people that if I can feel it kind of brewing up, for example, I think you guys all probably saw me weep on last Wednesday, but I mean, it's still throughout the day was brewing to the second I left this place. And I called my dad. I lost again. And then later when I saw my wife at home, there's certain people you get around when you're feeling it or things are brewing up like that. And that
it's a safer space.
Exactly.
Your dad and your spouse.
Exactly.
I mean, those are the places where you're going to feel in a position to do that, where if you're just around, coworkers, or maybe you're listening to the radio in the car or whatever, and you're out in public or whatever it might be, you might not feel as emboldened to do that.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think it makes men weak, but it's just like how much do your emotions control you, and how much do you control your emotions? It sounds like you had a lot of emotions, Ethan, and you chose when to give into those emotions because it's the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
To acknowledge that.
There's less of a stigma now for guys too than there probably was in the past.
Absolutely.
Do you ladies have a check on that when you feel yourself about to cry?
Yes, I always joke about not having emotions. The truth of the matter is I'm an incredibly emotional person, and have had to face that throughout various things in my life, and learning how to control those emotions and not let those emotions control me. It is difficult to work. Trisha, I don't know how you feel about this, but it's difficult to work in a male-dominated environment and be somebody who shows emotions and not – you can – perceive yourself that everyone's going to think I'm being emotional because I'm a chick. I remember a few meetings where I was very upset and I had to go talk to my boss about something, not even at this particular location, but I got emotional. I was so mad at myself because I went in and I was, in my mind, and I still think I'm righteous in the anger and frustration that I was experiencing. But the fact that I cried made it kind of more about the crying than the point that I was bringing in there. But the situation was such that those emotions took over. And I feel weak when I do that. I know I'm not a weak person, but professionally, it's something that you don't want to see. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. Ethan's birthday celebration today, but it is also Ryan's birthday week.
So I get the week, Ethan gets the day, but I get all the rest of the week.
But I get your day, which I think means a little bit more, too.
Well, I do
Happy
too.
Dino birthday, Ryan.
Thank you.
That balloon clip to your butt is amazing. We'll be right back.
When will you realize, baby, I'm not like the rest. Don't wanna break
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. Call 314-227-9636, 314-227-9636, and reach out to Matt Hayes. He is the owner of this family-owned local business that is happy to come to your home, check out the broken, cracked, uneven, unlevel, trip hazard, safety hazard, liability concrete that you've been tripping over for how long now? You need to assess this situation to make sure that you are not overpaying for the solution, but that you do find a solution. A 5-year warranty comes along with the Home Shield Foundation Repair polyjacking procedure, which takes a polyurethane foam, injects it underneath the uneven concrete, and levels it out so that you no longer have this liability on your hands at your residence or at your business. Whether you're talking about your pool deck and your patio that you might be cleaning up right now at the end of the season, or maybe it's your driveway, sidewalks, walkways, parking lots at your place of business, Home Shield Foundation Repair is there to solve your problem. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, igotfloor.com.
Mark Cox here. Let me introduce you to my friends at the Lit Cigar Lounge in St. Louis, where luxury meets comfort. Premium hand-rolled cigars, an extensive selection of rare bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails. It's comfortable for non-smokers, too. They have a state-of-the-art ventilation system. They have private lockers and live music every Friday night, perfect for date nights or business meetings or just winding down. Visit litstl.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. And you know, your home is your sanctuary. You need to take the first step to peace of mind with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from the #1 Generac generator dealer in the country, Generator Supercenter. We learned the hard way here in St. Louis during the tornado recently that power can be knocked out. But even outside of that, what if the power grid fails and it's 100 degrees here in St. Louis? You don't want to be that person. Get with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis today. Generator Supercenter of St. Louis.com. Tell them that we sent you along.
This is Justin Brown with Krenz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. Is your financial advisor proactive or reactive? If your strategy or service feels stagnant or misaligned, it may be time for a change. Our defined, proactive approach to investments and communication keeps you informed and prepared for what's ahead. Let's talk about what makes us different and how a more engaged advisor can help you reach your goals. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Servicing. Member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. The YouTube live chat poll for today: is it a both sides issue? Your options are yes, both sides, no, just one, or there is no issue. We're just talking about the First Amendment and everything that comes with it. Brad, your thoughts on this one?
I think it is a both sides issue, but it is not even in any way, shape, or form. I was listening to Will Chamberlain whenever you were interviewing him, and he made a great point. There is violence on the right. I would be lying, it would be dishonest to say that there isn't. But in no way, shape, or form is it prolific, or does it even measure to the amount that and the intensity that is on the left. Nor do you hear people on the right calling for a bunch of violence.
Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually kind of agree with that. You have to say both sides because you would never have a 0% to 100% split. Mm-hmm. So it's unfair statistically to say it that way. But this is a one-sided problem because you do have, anytime something happens that affects the left versus the right, who do you think is rioting?
Right.
That is a great place to start because you're not just talking about random crazies. You're talking about ideologies and full groups of people who choose to enact things on a larger scale through either violence or nonviolence.
Chris says on YouTube, if it's both sides, it's a 99-1 split.
I wouldn't even go that far, but I get the point.
Yeah.
Joe says, Joe number 1 says, it's one-sided. We all see it. We all know it. Yet the left continues to say, don't believe what you see and experience. Believe us. You are violent and you are the problem. Joe number 2 says, yep, there's a young woman leading. Yep, it is both sides. Leading cancel actions on Instagram. A little fame and a little power go to the heads of both sides. Empathy is gone. The one thing that I will say about those on the left who initially came out to try to condemn the violence, but always preface it with like, this could have been caused by anything. Don't jump to conclusions. It's interesting to me that was such a consistent reaction from people on the left. It was a bit of a tell, if you will. Ethan, you want to give us the results to today's poll?
252 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll. Is it a both sides issue? 6% say there's no issue, First Amendment. 30% say yes, both sides. And an overwhelming 63% say no, just one.
Thank you for voting today. Don't go anywhere. 97.1 FM Talk has Mark Reardon next.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-239-1749. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-239-1749. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-239-1749, 800-239-1749, or biglou.com.
CiviaLaw.com. Call Todd Civia at any of his 7 locations. And right now, if you give him a call to talk about planning your estate, talking about what happens when you pass away or when your loved one, your significant other, passes away, you're going to have an opportunity to sit down with him and book a strategy session, which when you mention my name, but you got to call right now, you get free. A $300 value strategy session for free when you're one of the first 10 callers right now to 833-995-WILL. 833-995-WILL. They will assist you with all your legal needs in the areas of estate planning, elder law, also special needs, real estate, personal injury, business, and online forms. The first 10 callers to 833-995-WILL will get their free strategy session to get the process started. It's a $300 value. In Illinois, in Edwardsville, East Dalton, Swansea, Centralia, and Mount Vernon. In Missouri, in Wentzville and Creve Coeur. 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL. CiviaLaw.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron,